rugged and raw. Battle scars and broken jaws, deep wounds caused by wolfing claws. War warriors meet to compete on the grandest scale. Victory or defeat, broken bones and shattered teeth. Only the top fighters on the streets will prevail. This fight is evil, no sequels or prequels. FB bringing the presence to the people.
Okay, there we go. Now that I'm unmuted. What's up, what's up, what's going on, everyone? This is BTS, Blast the Speakers. I just wanted to tell you all, and before we start this interview, that we're doing this because a friend of ours came to us and wanted to just have a space to talk. Not anything else but that. So I want to be clear that we are not looking to downplay anything. We're not looking to, there's not going to be any quote-unquote bashing or any type of down talk in any way. If there is, things will end, because in no way is this meant to be something that will bring down another community or do anything or any harm to another individual. We're not about that. We've never been and never will be. So I just want to be clear on that before we start things. I personally have no issues with anyone out there in the community. Maybe there's one or two individuals that are out there, and a lot of people that do not like me, perhaps. But regardless, I just wanted to let you guys know that I myself personally have no issues with any of you that are out there that are watching this. And this is not what some people may be thinking this is about. This is about giving a person an opportunity to speak. That's what this is. We believe in fairness, we believe in equality, and we're looking to give the person an opportunity. That's all this is. So, without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and bring in the utility man and our interviewee, if you will, Welcome2Die. So, let me bring the gentleman in. What's going on, guys? How are you both?
What's going on?
Oh, hold on one second. There we go. Now that looks better. How are you?
Good. What's going on, guys?
So
pretty tired after earlier.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
I know
So
all
you
about
guys
that.
ended like at 7, right? You guys just finished your stream, so
Just literally
okay.
a little while ago.
Yeah, we finished it about 2 hours ago, so just enough time to get dinner and prepare.
Yeah. So before we start things off, I mean, I know utility man, you have a whole thing that you want to go through and discuss. Yeah. Welcome2Die. How you holding up, man? You doing okay?
Yeah, I'm all right, man. Same shit, different toilet. Just move forward with life.
That's how it should be.
Everything's good, man. I mean,
the thing.
Yeah, roll with the punches. I roll with the punches, bro.
The thing that I always try to promote, and the thing that I always say, is that keep it about the games and keep it about the fun. Now, there should be, some rules and guidelines and things like that are set. That's why whenever we run tournaments and run events, we always go over them before the start of every stream. Unless it's like what we did today, which is just like a hangout stream, a fun stream, but even then, there's no competition, nothing to strive for, there's no investment, there's no, anything like that, which I know you guys are going to get into. So I just wanted to say that in my eyes, you are always a true champion, and there are other champions out there too, so I give respect to wherever it's due. And I want you to go ahead and explain and express whatever it is that you need to, but in a professional manner, of course.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I ain't got no problems with that.
Cool. All right.
Yeah.
Go ahead, utility.
Okay, so for those of you out there, I will be the one asking the questions tonight. I mean, obviously, if Blast wants to say something, that's fine. But we want to keep this as fair as possible. I have a series of topics I want to go over, most of them having to do with Welcome2Die's video. Hopefully, y'all have all seen that now. So we're gonna try to be objective about this as possible. If I agree with something, I will say that. If I disagree with something, I will say that.
So
There
will
will
I.
not be any bias here.
There's one other thing I want to say. We are doing this as an open thing for anyone that does want to speak on a fair platform, on something that's moderated, where there's nothing, So, for example, this is Welcome to Die's story. If Moat or someone else would like to come on stream and talk, we would be happy to set something up as well, because we believe in that fairness. So I just want to throw that out there too.
Okay, so I'm going to start with something that sounds simple. It's really not. Give me the best answer possible. And this is what a lot of people are going to wonder. Are you a villain?
Am I a villain?
He really isn't.
Fair question.
I don't think he is. I'm sorry. That's my personal opinion. I've known the guy. He
Yeah.
plays the villain part.
Yeah.
He likes to play the villain part.
Look, I mean,
Go
deep
ahead.
down, I'm a good, every villain has their story. Every villain is the hero in their story, right? Like Thanos, he thought he was doing the right thing, balance and structure, and then you got these guys that came and, those were the real bad guys, the Avengers, right? Look at the name, Avengers. They were avenging
chopped his
things.
head off. They chopped his head off.
Yeah. He didn't do that. He didn't deserve that. But, I mean, since I entered the community, man, I love trash talking. That stems from my childhood. That stems as a teenager. The best of buddies, trash talking. I feel like it kind of motivates, the competitor to push to do more. And the way I use it is, I talk trash because I want the best out of somebody. I don't like people holding back. So if I face your Just Rich or a Eddie Good, I look at it as the equivalent of me going to jail and punching the biggest guy in the jail cell. Like, we're going to fight. And I'm going to talk trash because when usually you have a S-tier player, they're going to hold back. But when you talk trash, nobody holds back. Usually, that is the best way to get them out of that mindset. And it's like, no, I want to kill this guy. And that's when you get the best. And I do believe steel sharpens steel. So I push that envelope so I can better my skills, so I can get better. So I always have that mindset because I hate when people hold back. So when I joined the Marvel vs. Capcom Discord, I called people out all the time. I was like, let's do it. Let's go. So I played that persona. I would say Welcome to Die is me on steroids because I do like talking trash. But even though I play the villain, there are limits and there are lines you don't cross. So it's like we are playing the villain, right? And I would do that for ratings and to help other channels out. Like, I really would embrace that character. But as soon as it becomes disrespectful, as soon as, like, just because I'm the villain, that gives you the right to boo me. I accept that. But that doesn't give you the right to stack the deck, to make it unfair, to change the rules and make it unfair for the villain. That's when I have a problem.
So the rules were given at some point. I'm sorry, I don't follow. Like, I'm a very busy person, so I don't actually follow
Believe
everything.
me, we will explain that.
Don't worry, Blast. It's very convoluted. It's very convoluted. There's plenty of rules. I mean, we're talking about a 2-year span, 2 seasons, 2 years, and this has been an ongoing thing. So I understand.
So things were changed as you participated in some events. Is that what happened? To my understanding,
a lot of times, constantly, a lot. It wasn't surprising when it did, and usually it would happen to promote chaos, to promote like drama content, to shake things up, if you will, like to get the audience more engaged. Like, they'll change some stuff up.
I suppose.
So he would do it as a game show type of thing. Like, I got it, I understood it, but it just felt that it wasn't impartial. It was just impartial.
Okay.
Like, it just wasn't fair. It wasn't fair towards me, and I've called it out many times. And Tom can testify. It even happened to Tom in season 1. So like, there are more people that.
What were the reasons for changing things? Do you know?
I would say more of like a rubber band system, like Mario Kart. Like if you feel that player is at an advantage, just to make things a little bit, try to balance things for an event. Like for instance, with Tom, your situation was Tecmo Super Bowl. He was first place, but he wasn't allowed to pick a certain team. But that rule happened the day of inside that tournament. And then that put Tom in a very awkward situation where he couldn't pick like his first 2 teams or something like that, right, Tom?
So
yeah, that's kind of the game you really want to know your team for a tournament setting, and I had to go with a team I had never used.
So I'm gonna reveal something that I probably do not like to, and I want to actually showcase how fair the utility men is. So there's been times when we ran tournaments and things like that, and I've considered to do something like seeding and whatnot, and we've had discussions as to why that's not fair, and to give everyone an equal opportunity and things like that. So I understand the reasoning and wanting and desire to keep things interesting in a tournament, so that you, like, for example, you get somebody who's not that skilled in a game versus someone who's like gonna destroy that other player. You know, you wouldn't want to match them up, for example. You know what I mean? Like, you'd want to try and keep it entertaining so that you would have, you know, an equal whatever. Would you say that that was more of the case here?
I really think at that point,
I see your face,
Tom,
utility.
Tom,
You are
I think
so
he was being
freaking
singled
animated
out.
always.
Tom was being singled out. He was being targeted at that time.
Okay.
And that thing, it like escalated to other things. It was a domino effect,
So there's,
and which ultimately led Tom to resign from the league.
I've heard stories. I'll put it that way. So basically, you're telling me that, in short, there's favoritism. Is that what you're trying to tell me? Okay.
Yes, and I've called it out multiple times. I've called it out. There's favoritism. There's nepotism. Yeah.
Okay.
And those, and which I called out in the video. In my video, I called those things out. If you're going to join season 3, season 4, be prepared for those things. Be prepared for a rubber band system. Be prepared for rules changing on the fly.
Yeah, that's not something that should be done. But that's not our place to say that or make a judgment call on that. I just want to throw that out there. It's not our place on that. This is where they run and they call the shots, you know, however they want, because it's their events. It's up to you guys.
No, of course.
It's up to you guys as competitors as to whether or not you want to compete.
Of course.
In that. You know?
Well, that's why this is why I wanted to come out and speak out like this, because for new people that are coming into season 3 and season 4, they should be aware of what happened. They should be aware that it's not just me and Tom. There's plenty of competitors from season 1 that are not returning, that didn't return to season 2 and are not returning to season 3. Their roster is getting smaller, and I'm exposing why.
I see. So
just for the record, Blast, I've talked to you before about that whole thing. Your way of balancing a tournament's terrible. They should never do that. Moat did not do that, thankfully, because that's terrible. No, you don't want to match the 2 best people up first. You have to make it the best versus the least. That's how you do seeding.
Well,
everyone does that.
Again, like we had these discussions, and the reason why I was thinking that at some point was because of making it or keeping it entertaining. So my thought process is that maybe, perhaps, that's what someone else's thought process could have been, and that's why I'm thinking that. But
most of the tournaments that they did were completely random. Like they were not set up to be this person versus this person. It's just they randomized the seeds, and usually, however it landed is what went. Not always.
Okay.
So
and the last thing, I know you have a whole list of things you want to go over, but the one last thing is that I understand that there was an investment made. Now, when I spoken to some people, they said the entry fee to get into this event is like $20 or something like that. Is that correct?
Yes, it is correct. I was given the exception and resistantly, like they didn't want to do it at first. They gave me the exception because I was the champion and I was
Okay.
returning to defend my crown, right? And they pretty much bitched and moaned that I didn't, and I got that exception. Even Mo made like commentary downplaying that, like, oh, he's a cheap bastard.
But
Because
isn't he the one that
because
gave you
I
the exception?
exactly.
So,
But it happened on stream.
okay.
It happened on stream.
Now you told me
So
you've told me something that you were very invested in this, and I think I did kind of catch a little bit of the stream last night that you were on with UAG. Shout out to the UAG and his channel and all of that too.
shout out to
If
UAG.
you guys haven't checked out his channel, you should. And the same thing with Moat. You guys should see Moat's channel. Moat plays in the BackAlley 711. In no way we are downplaying anything that they've got going on. We're just sticking to what happened, what's facts, and like I said, giving the man space to talk. Now, and I'm also telling these things because you've come to me before and you've told me things where you spent, I think, close to $1,000 or something like that.
Yeah, that's correct. I mean, the
That's a
big
lot of
one of the
money.
big difference, From season one. Season one was absolutely free. It was a better line of games, in my opinion, and Tom agrees with me on that. But season two, they were mainly on Xbox, and a lot of the games required Series X, or you couldn't play. And if you couldn't play, you get DQ'd. And if you get DQ'd, you don't get points for that day, that event.
Okay.
So I had to upgrade to an Xbox Series X, which is about 500 and change,
That's a lot.
and then more than a handful of games that were easily over 500.
Yeah.
I
don't know.
so
I don't know.
it'll
I don't own
add
an
up.
Xbox myself, so I understand. I have a PS5.
Yeah, so
What's,
the Series X is still pricey. It's still up there, still 5 something. And then imagine if you have to buy 10 games for it. So it's around that ballpark. I'm not saying 1,000 exactly, but that I got my admissions was waived because I was the champion. So I just wanted to stress that because a lot of people have sour grapes that I didn't even pay to get into season 2. And I'm like, okay, you already granted me permission to join. You really don't have to throw that in my face.
I got it. Okay. Go ahead, Tom. I know you have questions.
Okay. So before we move on to the video, there was one thing that we talked about that was left out of the video and probably should have been brought up. You had a problem with a Smash Brothers event that Moat did.
Yeah.
And I have seen this myself. I kind of have to agree with you on this. If you want to give them a quick rundown of exactly what happened.
All right. So I'll say this. Mo allows people to join. They call them randoms. I call them ringers, right? And they can just join the event. And during the season, things changed up. At one point, it was the points would trickle down. So if the ringer would win the tournament, second place would get first place points, whatever it was, 300 points, 600 points, whatever. And then it became later on, no, it wouldn't trickle down, but it became a double elimination tournament instead. So by the time we played Smash Brothers, I would say it was a double elimination tournament. Yeah. His son is a great Smash Brothers player, and it was pretty like he came into play. But as far as the league is concerned, nobody was better than me in Smash Brothers. Period. Like I pretty much waxed everybody in Smash Brothers. His son got the better of me. That's fine. But it was definitely an attempt to diminish me in a way. Like he used that like in the first tournament. And I really remember it was the last tournament where he changes rules for his son. So he's like, we do one stock only. Like Blast, we start with 3 stocks, so 3 lives just to catch you up in Smash Brothers. You're aware, right?
I have a question. So this is Moat's son, and he's in the league, or he just participated for a particular one?
He would only participate in Dragon Ball Z and Smash Brothers.
What was the point of the person participating if it's a league?
He just wanted to play. Those were his main games. He loved those games, and I think Mo talked him into doing season 3. So maybe he does season 3. I'm not sure.
That doesn't affect other league players in any way?
Yes, it does.
I mean, we all had sour grapes about it. We've all talked about it, and I would say a handful of people in the league, they had issues with that. Like, depending when people would jump in, during the season. And that's why it changed. Before it was trickle down economics. That's what he would call it. Or then it said, no, points are not going to travel down. We're just going to do double elimination. But my whole thing with that, no matter who it was with ringers, is that with first round, whoever gets the ringer could potentially get screwed and get eliminated.
So
there was a lot trickle down doesn't matter.
So basically,
then trickle down wouldn't matter.
Just a lot of wild cards is what you would say.
Yeah, and it happened throughout. It happened in every game. I got to the grand finales in Smash Brothers and versus Sakia, his son, and he got me. But like he was using him as a weapon almost, if you will.
I was just gonna say,
and it was just
what was the point
bashing.
Of it? What was the point of it?
I mean, I can't pull up exactly anything, but it was just.
Well, I kind of wish.
Yeah, I'll let Tom take away.
I kind of wish he was here to explain that, but.
So I actually, again, I wanted to make sure I knew everything that was going on. I'll kind of run you through a little bit of what happened. Okay. So, in a previous tournament, because people were complaining about ringers, Mode had said that there would be no ringers from that point further. And then Smash Brothers comes up, and Mode allows his son to play, but a limitation is put on him. If he loses one stock, he loses. He doesn't have to lose all three. He does have to beat the other person's all 3 lives, but if he loses one, he's out. So, he played Welcome2Die. Okay. Welcome2Die killed one of his stocks. Moat complained about it, said he's removing the limit. And then, since his son is really good at Smash Brothers, he made it all the way to Grand Finals to play Welcome2Die again. The limit was removed for somebody that shouldn't have even been in the tournament. And then, since Saki is better, they were pretty much making fun of Welcome2Die the whole match for losing.
How does it affect him with regards to... I understand that the league was a point system. Does that deduct points from him since he did not win?
No, I ended up getting first place points, but I got it. It was a bittersweet moment, and it shouldn't even have been that.
Right, it should just be the people that are in the league playing, basically.
And I want to touch on that really quickly. On that is that I believe that with the league, these are rivals. These 12 competitors from 14, they're rivals, and we're out to prove who's the best. Are you better than your rivals? And that's what I'm looking for. I'm not. Like I said, I believe in steel sharpens steel. But at the same time, if we enter the league, the paying contestants enter the league, I want to prove I'm the best within my rivals, within that group.
Makes sense.
If I wanted to play Sakia, I have no problem at playing ringers, off stream, sure. But even if they are legitimately in the league, I have no problem. But if you're bringing them in midway through the season and they're just impacting the point system, then I'm that pretty much bothers me, because it's I don't mind playing the guy off stream. I don't mind playing him if he was within the league, but I want to know who's the best within our group. Not, I know it's not the world. It's within the league. Who's the best in the league? Because what does it do when a ringer wins? Nothing. That doesn't prove he's the best in the league because he doesn't participate every week.
Yeah, I get that. Because that.
Yeah, and actually,
if you want to do something like that, run a separate event that doesn't affect that league. That's what I think should have been done, but that's again not our place.
And I've also spoken to Blast recently that I think from this point forward, when we host events that are for money, we shouldn't play because we shouldn't have any effect on the outcome of it.
As much as we want to, but we don't.
Yeah. Okay, so that's the main thing. Everything from this point forward will be what you covered in the video, and we just kind of want to give some context behind it. So, again, just to be fair, I'll start off with something I'm not really too thrilled with. What is with that intro?
AI, man. I'm not a fan of that either.
It is terrible. Yeah. It's terrible.
Are you talking about the video of my AI Michael Buffer?
Yes.
Well, I know. People have mixed feelings about it, but I scripted up something I really wanted to say, and that was really important to me. And I told Tom that I was trying originally, for a fun fact, I was trying to get Lillian Garcia to say that speech that Michael Buffer ended up doing
I
from
heard.
Cameo.
I heard it probably would have been
And
better
then
if you spoke yourself, but
yeah, but that didn't happen. For whatever reason, the agent said she only does happy birthdays or whatever. And then Jonathan Coachman was the next runner up, and he, MIA, busy guy. So it kind of delayed me. It pushed the video back another 2 weeks. So I said, I really want to say this speech, but I don't want to do it because it's more of an introduction. So I kind of was left with that, like, and I ended up going with that. I was like, it's not the best. I know, I understand, but it's okay. It gets the point across.
Yeah, but like coming in front of the cam and being like, I'm the true champion and whatnot is already what you do. So, I mean, would it really hurt you to do the intro yourself?
I mean, yeah, like I said, I jotted it up, man, and that was just too much. I just felt like, I went with it. It was basically expressing myself, and I think it was the right for me. That's what YouTube's about, expressing yourself. So that was my artistic view on it, and I went with it
until they take your video down, of course.
yeah, that's
You got
how things work.
expressing
really-
yourself within certain limitations.
Okay, that's fair. I mean, hey, to each his own. It's fair.
No, I mean, I'm sure
I-
there's some people that like that intro, so it's fun. It's just not my personal taste.
UAG,
Oh,
they're
I
just
respect
giving preference. That's all it is, man. Just giving
Yeah,
preference.
I respect it.
Like,
Okay, so I'm
Not
gonna
your cup of tea.
I'm gonna go through the video chronologically. Everything that I have noted down happens in a particular order. So, very second thing. Now, I've asked you this before, but now I'm gonna ask you on stream. Why are you telling Moat to stop ducking you when you're not gonna play him?
Okay, so those.
that doesn't make any sense to me. Like,
Yeah.
how can he play you if?
Well, I'm known as a master troll as well. I am known for a master troll. Those games at one point we were supposed to play. It didn't happen, or we did play, and we were supposed to schedule rematches, and they never happened on his side when we were at good terms, right? Right now, it's very unlikely that it will happen because we're not in good terms. But those games were talked about, like the Dragon Ball Z. I was making an inside joke because he frowned upon that me and you were training in season 1, and I used the same, and I pretty much mocked that. And I'm like, "Why are you ducking me? You're doing a show. You told me we were gonna play that night, and we didn't get to play." Because, and then he says he was doing a live stream, and I was like, sure, there was plenty of time, we didn't get to play. So of course I'm going to troll that, even though we're more unlikely we're not going to play it. I still could talk trash about it, and it's all about, it's a mental game, that's all.
I mean, you still can. That just kind of sends mixed messages to me.
Yeah, but
Play me, but I'm not actually going to play you. So,
well, we had plenty of chances to play, and it's like I said, never say never, but right now the car accident just happened. I am not being friends with the guy that struck my car the next day. We are getting insurance involved. I am not taking my car to a ghetto mechanic. I am getting premium parts. I don't want aftermarket parts. It's just too soon.
okay.
So, I know what Utility was saying. So I just kind of want to get you in your head for a sec. So is it kind of like leaving it as the last laugh type of sense? Like you throw it out,
Pretty much.
Yeah, that's kind of how.
Pretty much.
I know you two. Like we've known each other for some period of time too. So I know the Welcome to Die. So would you say? And I'm sorry, I'm gonna kind
And it
of
was
get
also
off a little bit
entertainment for the
side
video.
topic.
Entertainment value for the video, trash talking. That's all.
So would you say that was more Welcome to Die? Because there's obviously a distinction and difference between Welcome to Die and King.
Yeah. No, that was more Welcome to Die. Yeah,
Okay.
I agree with that.
Because I think some people when they view this, they look at it as the Welcome to Die perspective. There is another side of you. and that I think is what
Yeah.
we're trying to show here. The
Yes.
real you, the one that
Yeah.
was affected. Like when we spoke, you were sympathetic about things, and you were elaborate, and you had explained yourself, and I took it as okay. We have to give you space and all of that.
Yeah.
You know, and that's kind of where
You know,
when I saw the video, I was like, huh?
yeah.
You know what I
So
mean?
with the video, is that I'm trying to keep it entertaining. That's all.
I get that.
So to me, it was balance of truth, entertainment, and it was just finding the balance. Yeah, I probably tipped the scale here and there, but ultimately the message got across.
Okay, I just wanted.
Some people might not like that style, and I get it, but it's like you can't please everybody in the world either.
I just wanted to be clear so that because a lot of people see the video and they see that image of you, the Welcome to Die you, and they don't see this and they don't see the real you and understand what really happened and what caused you to do that. And, you know what I mean? And that's why I brought that up. So I'm sorry, Tom. I know you have a list of things.
That's okay. No, I mean, I've already made my opinion pretty clear. Is like, I obviously had no problem with you making a video explaining what happened, what you think should have happened, how it made you feel, all that. I would have just done it without attacking Moat, because I know that's your style, but I just don't think that was necessary to get your point across.
I kind of agree with Tom.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's 1,000 ways to skin a cat. I prefer that way.
Because he's listen, he's at the end of the day, he's a human being just like us. You know, he has feelings, he has emotions, he has things that, whatever. And I know that you were hurt, you were expressing your feelings through that video as well. Like you said, I think it was therapeutic at some point. I get that. I understand.
Oh, yeah, it definitely was. Yeah.
I get that and I understand that. But I also think that maybe some of it wasn't necessary with regards to the way it was went about. Like, if you maybe explained things from a different perspective, maybe some other people would look at things differently.
Yeah, but at the same time, it was therapeutic for me. I really didn't care for the main objectives. I hit the goals that I wanted. It was therapeutic for me. I got my point across. I know Mo reacted to it, and I'm actually, I get it. Like, his reaction is where it needs to be. Like, because the message got across. So it's not everybody's cup of tea. We can agree to disagree, and I have no regrets on what I said in that video.
Real quick, I just wanna say something to EG out there, bro. You're good. Don't worry about it. If you ever want to come through, just come through. Don't even sweat it. We get people that come in and out all the time, bro. Sorry. Go ahead, guys.
Well, speaking of messages getting across or not, the next thing definitely didn't get across because I think you forgot to go in detail about it. So, Fight Night. You kind of briefed on it in the video, but you really didn't get a chance to explain what the problem was.
Yeah. The problem with that is that we've talked about it. This is 2 years of content to be compressed to an hour and a half. Like, there's thousands and thousands of hours that Mo has put into this league. And that video was just a snapshot of what happened. But I wish I would have highlighted a little bit more of Fight Night, because that was a big thing. It was. There were other events that were pretty big too that weren't in there. But yeah.
I'm just looking at the chat as well. So One Up Underground, I want to just bring up this up. I don't know, like, I don't want this to turn into like a stream that we're bashing Mode, and I don't understand what he means. Maybe you do, or some of you guys do. He said, when you try to be a good human being and try to reach out and communicate, and Moat doesn't reply, when you see him online making an example out of you for his viewers, he'll push you to a limit. I think he was meaning like with you with that video, Welcome to Die.
Yeah. I mean, that video... I totally agree. I agree. I think I understand what he's trying to say, or what he said. Because I made multiple attempts to reach out to Mo, but every time I felt that I was done wrong, I reached out, and I got to understand him He even put out a tweet saying that he was so done with confrontation since 2020. He doesn't deal with confrontation. So these discussions that we needed to have were confrontational. It's like, let's talk about it. And it was avoided like the plague. And he would either give me a one-word answer or he would message me 4 or 5 days later. And an example of that, the very last message was for the season finale, where he mentioned, let's play Yu-Gi-Oh! Under 24 hours. I messaged him and I said, are you serious? You just explained on the last stream that it would be Monday games only and Fightcade. What perk did Cham earn to get Yu-Gi-Oh? And I mean, all I ask is for a fair competition. If the tables would turn, I wouldn't do that to you. Did not reply. He replied after the competition was over, after the screw job was over. Then he replied to me.
I want to stop you for a second because Moat is actually in the chat. And I want to, Moat, I know you're in the chat. I want to acknowledge you as well and give you an opportunity to speak. He says, while I appreciate venting, etc., it would be a shame if I formed a defense video since this is a car accident, but it's not that serious. Plus, I don't want to make him look bad. Receipts exist. But it's all good. Y'all have a great stream. Moat, if you want to say something, you want to whatever, we'd be happy to give you some space to talk too, man. We want to make it as fair as possible. This isn't a stream to go at you specifically or anything like that. This is giving an opportunity for him to speak in a moderated environment. And the same goes for you. If you'd like to speak in a moderated environment, we'd be happy to facilitate that for you. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Me or him?
Well, you guys were talking. I kind of cut in. I apologize.
I guess you were talking about Fight Night.
Yeah.
Yeah, because based on the video that you didn't really get to explain what happened in Fight Night.
Okay. So in Fight Night, it was interesting. Not a lot of people showed up or they couldn't connect. Ultimately, it was just me, Moat, and Haffy playing. And Moat in the beginning of the stream said he wouldn't even be playing. So just note that, because he wasn't even supposed to play. I was accused of using a stamina glitch, which I don't know about because I just started playing Fight Night for the season. So I didn't know about no stamina glitch. Then I did headbutt Moat. He says twice. I remember one time. And basically he DQ'd me off of that because he claimed that in local tournaments that's not allowed. You get DQ'd, you get thrown out of the tournament. I did a quick Google search. I looked up Reddits. I found tournament rules. Did not come across that. But Moat, he sticks to his story saying that locally that's what they do. And I don't believe it. I couldn't find any rules like that. And everyone I've ever spoken to, I spoke to UAG about it or anybody else, they said that doesn't exist. Even in boxing, you're allowed to headbutt. You just get points deducted. And that's pretty much it. You don't just stop the game. And so that's what happened. And then he says, how could you smash the buttons, accidentally do a headbutt? Because that's what I said. It was accident because the dodging mechanic is the trigger, the top trigger. So you're using the analog top trigger, and as you're moving, I accidentally hit the D-pad. So it happened by accident. I'm sticking to that. I got DQ'd. I try to explain myself. I got blocked off Discord. He muted me the entire time. He server deafened me. So I didn't even get to explain my case for that event. And then what happened, the weird thing is, those people that signed up for just points, they ended up receiving second, third, and fourth place. Haffy, who didn't even win first place, he got 450 points for that event. He didn't even win a match.
I like Haffy, but I don't understand why that would happen.
Well, because Welcome2Die got disqualified. Moat's not going to give himself points.
Guys, if you excuse me for a second, I'll be right back.
Right back. That's fine. Go ahead, Utility. You can explain this.
Yeah. Basically, they were still doing like the trickle-down point system at that point. So, yeah, because Moat joined, but he's not part of the league, he doesn't give himself points.
Okay.
So with Welcome to Die disqualified, Moat was second. He doesn't get any points. It goes to the next person, which was Haffy.
Why not disperse it to everyone in the league equally if that's the case?
Well, no. Haffy got first place points, and then whoever was after Haffy got second place, and so on.
Oh, so it was just like a trickle effect, basically.
Yeah, it's
Whoever-
basically Welcome to Die was completely nullified. Moat was not an actual entrant in the league, so his second place finish didn't matter. It's as if Happy got first, and then so on.
Okay.
Now, I will say, for fairness' sake, I did also look this up myself. I do not know exactly what Moat is referring to when he says headbutts get you disqualified. I checked several tournaments myself. I never saw that against the rules one time. I don't know if maybe that's just what he goes by, but I never saw anybody else say that that was against the rules.
He's still in the chat, which is good. I mean, he's interacting, I think, with One Up Underground. So, Moat, if you wanna,
if he
want to say
wants to
something, bro,
respond,
I will highlight whatever you say, bro. Like,
I'm not saying that.
This is in no way to like, you know, make you look bad or bash you or anything like that. I want to be clear on that. I don't know if you saw the start of the video. I don't know if you. I just want to be clear that in no way we're looking to try and, you know, make you look bad in a sense. We're just sticking to facts of what things occurred. So if you want to explain yourself or you want to say something, by all means, you're welcome to do so.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm not saying that's not how he plays. Maybe he does play that way, but I didn't see anyone else playing that way, so I don't know what he's referencing. And as far as the stamina glitch goes, the only thing I could find out about a stamina glitch was people talking on Steam, and it was agreed upon that it was an intentional mechanic in the game and not a glitch.
So I highlighted Moat's comment. He said something along the lines, I also was the one reaching out to him after the season, trying to speak. He ignored messages. I can't do anything about that. So, Welcome to Die, is that true? Has he tried reaching out to you?
He reached out to me if I received the package. I said yes. Like once I got it, I said yes. That was pretty much it.
But not to talk
as
to
far
you
as I
about,
recall.
But not to talk to you about things that went down.
No, nothing like that. He didn't bring any of those conversations up. I look when I won this when the when the championship was done, right? I pretty much answered questions politically. I just said, you know, enjoy the moment, Cham, enjoy the moment, Mo. I didn't want to ruin anybody's parade the day of. I really wanted to take some time off to reflect and really understand what just happened. And at the same time, I didn't want to say anything wrong. I kept everything political so I wouldn't lose any prize money, any further prize money, because I know how petty Mo can be. So I really just wanted to I didn't want to take the chance of losing anything by saying something and then be like, oh, I'm not going to send you anything. So I kept it political. I just did everything political. But, you know, once I got the prize money, I felt like that's it. I'm not biting my tongue down. I don't have to feel censored. And then I just pretty much laid it all on the video as much as I could.
Guys, he did say something about Fight Night.
Yeah, actually, I will comment on that. So he's saying headbutting is illegal in local tourneys. Now, my thing with that is, you know, I will take your word for that. If you say that's illegal in local tourneys, I believe you. But the only thing I will ask is, was that conveyed during your tournament that it was illegal? Because if you didn't tell people in advance that was illegal, then that does seem like you just threw it out there out of nowhere.
Yeah. And locally is just that. Those rules apply to his location, not mine. Like New York probably don't play like that.
Well, if he did say that at the beginning of his stream or within the rules or something, then
I found out the hard way.
Yeah, if he had conveyed that to y'all, then 100% he's right. But if he didn't, then you're never going to know that that's illegal until it comes up.
I'm just
and the typical thing he would do. And the typical thing he would do, right, is that if you got DQ'd in other events, you would just go to the loser bracket. I've never seen him double DQ anybody. So he made an example of me by double DQing me and just taking me out of the tournament. That has never happened before. So that further confused everything.
Okay, he said it was mentioned in the Discord. Do you know about that?
I don't know where. Uh, I've never seen it. And even if it's mentioned on the Discord, it should have been mentioned to the public viewing it. It should have been mentioned to the audience.
Moat, I'm a fair man. You want to send me a screenshot? I'll put it on stream. Just saying. I am a fair person. So if you have evidence and proof, I'll show it, man.
Well, speaking of that, like touching on that, Puzzle Fighter. I really don't want to jump from Fight Night to this, but I got to since he brought that up. Puzzle Fighter and Yu-Gi-Oh were not Monday games. You said on stream specifically that the grand finals would just be Monday games, 7-Eleven Monday games, and Fightcade games. That's all you said. But the fact is, you brought up Yu-Gi-Oh, and then Puzzle Fighter, and there was no point. So I'm saying this because I saw the Discord after the video. He wrote on the Discord talking about, oh, those were there because they got played 3 times this season. But that's not what you said on stream. You said only Monday games. Yes, Yu-Gi-Oh got played 3 times on Sunday events. Yes, Puzzle Fighter probably got played, but it wasn't a Monday event. And so rules change on the fly. Sorry, I digress. We can go back to Fight Night.
Doobie cracks me up.
So, I mean, as far as the stamina glitch, again, I tried researching that myself too. And from what I understand, and again, maybe this is just opinion, I saw people saying it's an intentional mechanic in the game. It's not actually a glitch. Because a lot of people were talking about
it's realistic.
My opponent's throwing a lot of wild punches, their stamina meter's not going down. Why is that? So
no, it's
I've never played the
boxing.
game. I can only go with what I've read.
I'll tell you this, because I love boxing, and I used to box myself, and I love it till this day. I watched all the fights, and I'll say this: in real life, you cannot, punch infinitely. You'll gas out. So they give you a bar where you hold your composure, you punch, and then you start getting your health back. It's supposed to simulate real boxing, because there's no real boxer that's going to punch 1,000 times and not get tired. So as you stop punching, your health bar goes up. Now, if you're pretty good at it, it looks like they're calling that a glitch, which I don't think that's fair, because that simulates real life. That's what they were going with on that.
I do also recall them saying that you picked the character for stats, and your character had really high stamina to begin with.
I just wanted to throw something out. What you described sounds like strategy to me, though.
Yeah, no, that's all it was. Like, I didn't put a cheat code in. Yeah. I just played the game. Like, I looked at my stamina bar. Every time you swing, your stamina bar goes down. So I'm not going to punch you 10 times and let if your stamina is really low, what happens is you can get knocked out. You get a flash knockdown, you get knocked out. So I always make sure that I keep my bar from half to full so I don't get knocked out. If I notice that my bar goes too low, I stop punching. It's called strategy.
So EG says, I didn't know the game was so complex. Dude, there's people, like Welcome2Die, he actually trains and prepares for different events. And then that's something that I think that they're going to also talk about, like how he prepares for certain things and how, maybe things were not kind of given a fair opportunity or whatever, from what I was told at least. Which I think you guys will get to.
If Moat actually produces a screenshot of what he said, we can circle back to this, but for now let's kind of move on.
Yeah, he hasn't DM'd me, I think. Let me check. I'll go on my phone actually. So
I'm not surprised, but continue.
Hey, no, he has an opportunity. Look, if he wants to show something, I'm not gonna, keep it from
No,
anybody.
I'm fine with that. I'm fine.
So,
Okay.
yeah, no, he has not
So-
yet.
So the next thing that came up in the video that I noticed, and I was there for this one, so I can kind of vouch for you on it. The Mortal Kombat X tournament, where you specifically asked them to put you in the losers bracket because you had a family emergency, and then
Right.
it seems like, even though Moat read off what you said, it seems like he forgot later that that's what you said, and that caused some controversy.
Exactly. Yeah. He went off and he went on a rant, and everybody knows I got my kid, and if I got to
Family
do
first.
something, I'm
Always.
family first. I'm putting stuff down.
Always.
So I
Family
asked
first
politely,
always.
can you just put me in the loser bracket, because it's just not gonna happen, and then maybe I could fight my way back. So that's what I wanted to do. But then I had situations like that, and if I had them wait for a split second, he got antsy, and then he went on a rant, and then that's when he downplayed my family emergency, saying that I'm going to McDonald's. And it's
Did
kind of
you-
like, and then he blocked me on Facebook, right?
Wait, did you
And
come
then he
back with
says
a Big
my-
Mac or
he's-
something?
No, I
No.
didn't.
I'm
But
just saying.
what my point is, it's the principle though. It's the principle. Like, I would have loved to, but it's the principle.
I'm just
And
saying.
on top of that, yeah, he blocks me on Facebook, and he calls me my government name, on live stream. Like, he doesn't say welcome to die, he says I block King. So at that point, you're not talking about the villain of the show. You're not talking about Welcome to Die. You made it personal. So this rant now has crossed the line. So for those who say, "Oh, you're the villain, you're supposed to take it," at that point, I was not the villain. I was an innocent bystander, because he called me by my government name, and that's where I took offense. And I take offense when you
It sounds personal.
downplay a family emergency. So that's what happened.
Now, to kind of play devil's advocate here, he was using a metaphor. He didn't say you went out for me. He said if you were in a tournament and you said to the TO you wanted to run across the street and get McDonald's, they're going to DQ you. He wasn't saying you did that. But to be fair, you did say put me in the losers. He read it out on stream. I heard him say it. I mentioned it later, and then he jumped on you, which this is also not right.
Yeah, no, it wasn't. So I think it's, I get it, man. I mean, this is YouTube. This is a gaming league. It's probably not going to be run 100% professional, right? But
I just
if you feel disrespected, you feel disrespected.
I just want to say, it's not our place to decide. It's how
Yeah.
another organization runs things. But
Yeah.
but I am a big person on family first. I always say that, and
Yeah.
people that have
No,
been
me
around
too.
me, they know that I always say that. Like, and because
I'm a family guy.
listen, if online is online, okay, people that you know on the internet, yeah, they can be like a family too. But if you have people that in real life, and you have an immediate family, and you're a father, and that's first and foremost, okay? You have a wife, you're a husband, that's also first and foremost. You have these responsibilities, you have these obligations, and you have priorities in your life. I know because I've got these priorities too, and so does
Yeah,
other people out there. So if you
I
can't,
mean, look,
you have to respect that, is what I'm saying, basically.
Yeah, I just try to keep it about gaming. I really don't like going into the personal space. So yeah, it was disrespectful.
Okay,
Dude,
so
he's
the next
too funny, man.
My
he's
gosh.
he's just messing around, but he's cracking me up over here. To me, I swear, man.
So the next thing I came across, I noticed 2 instances which you posted where Moat actually put a bounty on your head for the tournament. And for anyone that doesn't know, when they ran tournaments, they would often have some type of bounty to where if you did this during the tournament, you got extra points. But in this situation, the bounty was literally just beating Welcome to Die, which
I was gonna say
I
Raging
mean-
Demons. Like I can imagine
No,
like Raging Demons being a thing, because I know that's his thing.
Yeah, but like in this case, it was literally if you eliminate Welcome to Die, you get extra points.
Yeah, that's happened, and then sometimes he would do it as a villain role, or he was like as a gimmick. But it's actually happened in CVS1, where if I got beat, somebody got 25 points. That actually happened.
Dude, you keep cracking me up, man.
Now, I could understand doing that if you have somebody who's clearly the best at the game and you want to say if you take that person out, you get something extra. But it does kind of seem like he was incentivizing people to go complete tryhard on you just to get rid of you.
Yeah, I mean, look, like I said, I don't mind that because I love talking trash and making sure people go at their best. So that's fine in that sense. But it's unnecessary
Can I
to do it that way for a tournament.
Can I ask you a question? You just said he would go out of his way to eliminate him. What would be the purpose of that? And
No.
why would he
No. I think you're misunderstanding. No, basically what he said is anyone who beats Welcome to Die gets extra points.
Right, but my point is, what's the reasoning behind it? What's the motive? Especially, I mean, to my understanding, you guys were also good friends.
The reasoning is probably, he said on stream, like he enjoys that. Like it's just humiliation tactics. Like he wants to see me lose.
I mean, let's be fair.
Maybe
it's because Welcome to Die gloats.
Yeah, it's the trash talk and people can't take it. So,
I think I've seen that even before all of Mode's stuff. That you've been that way all out, and a lot of people people don't understand that you're just in character. And I just want to clarify that that's what that is, right?
Yeah, ever since I entered this community, I've been the same person.
But I mean, again, like you bragging and trash talking and gloating, that's gonna come back on you sometimes. They're like, okay, you're gonna mention how great you are. Let's see you prove it. So let's put a bounty on your head. That's kind of what I got from that personally. But the only thing that I don't like is that it's part of the league and giving out points changes the results. If that was just a fun thing and he's like, yeah, anybody who beats Welcome to Die gets so and so, then yeah, that's just to get you back for gloating.
Whose idea was it for the bounties? That's something that Roderick asked.
Oh, that comes from the bounties?
Roderick says wasn't bounties on the individuals your idea. Welcome.
No, I don't. Please show me a snapshot of that. I never said that.
Okay, now I cannot verify if he did or not. So
I want to give fairness throughout. Like I'm not trying to make it one-sided. I want to give fairness that these guys are asking questions and saying things. So I just want.
Yeah, I didn't come up with the rules. The person that comes up with the bounty every Monday night before a tournament starts is Mo. He would announce what the bounty is if there was one. He would announce it.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next thing's kind of just a one-off thing, and
UAG.
I'm only mentioning this because I saw it, and I'm actually the one that brought it to his attention. He's got a CVS2 match. He played against Cham, and he beats Cham still with 2 of his characters left, and Cham says that he's struggling. And I mentioned that to him because that's not really my definition of struggling. Like, I didn't even have to use all 3 of my characters. That kind of what your take on it is, Welcome to Die?
Yeah, I think Champ came out and said that because, sometimes he has the competitors on the stream commentating, and Cham was talking while he was playing. And the fact is, if I'm struggling, I didn't get to use my anchor that match, so it just didn't make any sense. But, there was no correction from the commentary team or anything like that. They usually let the bashing of Welcome to Die slide, and everybody gets to throw their kicks in. So that's what happened.
Now, to be fair, he does let all of you come on there and brag and talk big and
Yeah.
whatnot. So it's not
You
just
know,
Champ.
I go with, I went
It's
in
not
there
just
throughout the
Champ.
season too. Yeah, I went out there through the season
Okay.
too. I mean, I usually do not. Like, I like focusing on the game, and then I'll jump in. In the season finale in the championships, the only reason why I was on the live stream is because maybe PTSD. Like, you know, I'm worried that I'm gonna get screwed, so I keep my ears open because that happened throughout, and I was worried. But personally, I like to focus on the games and then just get on the live call after the match.
Okay.
I
So
just go ahead.
what?
Go ahead, Tim. Finish
No,
what you were
this is
saying.
going to lead into the next thing. So you might as well go ahead.
That's kind of why I jumped in, because I just wanted to acknowledge C. Marvel's comment. He feels this is a waste of airtime. There's nothing wrong with being upset, but there is something wrong in trying to take a situation no one knows anything about and paint a false image. I don't know what the image is that he's saying is a false image. I think Welcome2Die is just explaining himself, and other people have an opportunity to explain themselves here as well if they want to.
Yeah, there's nothing false when I've proven all the examples. I've given all the receipts in my video. I'm just talking about the receipts that I'm providing. There's nothing false about that. Those events actually happen, and I go through it my entire video. I'm not trying to paint any image of anybody, and I don't think it's a waste of airtime. I enjoy the Fighters Evo's content, and I appreciate my time here. And this has just possibly been better the league. So I think maybe you have to be more optimistic and think that this could make you reflect and better the league.
I think what he's saying is that maybe if you had a direct conversation with Mike, for example, with Moat,
Yeah.
that might have been the best method. I think that's what C. Marvel is trying to
yeah,
say.
and that's the thing. See, so I've tried and I've mentioned it in my videos, and usually that question comes from people that didn't watch the video, because I've mentioned it throughout my video, and I mentioned it in yesterday's interview and today's. I've reached out multiple times. Mo does not like confrontation. And the receipt is on Twitter. He doesn't deal with confrontation since 2020. He wrote it himself. I'm quoting Moat. He said confrontation is such 2020. So every time every time I was done wrong, he did not want to engage. He was just like, nope. And the only way I could get Mo to talk to me is when I literally switched topics, just so he could feel comfortable to talk about whatever else. And, sweep it under the rug like I would forget.
So he would avoid whatever the pressing issues were, is what you're trying to say.
Yeah, I try to talk about Fight Night. He blocks me. I try to talk about the Yu-Gi-Oh! Theme deck, where only 2 people played by the theme deck. He didn't want to hear that. So there's multiple events where I reached out to him and I said, hey man, this shouldn't have happened. Or when I played Blood Tide and the matches were laggy, he didn't want to talk about that. So he completely avoided that conversation as well.
He never got back to you later or something? Because like I myself, I'm going to say I'm very busy, and Tom will tell you, like he'll message me sometimes, or other people will message me. And I won't respond for a period of time.
Well, me and Mo,
my thought process is that he's got a family, he's got responsibilities too, he's got things as well.
I get that. I understand that, but I get that, but at the same time with Mo, I would talk to him on a daily basis. So when you can pick up on things, like if I'm talking to you, Blast, on a daily basis, and then all of a sudden this topic bothers you, and then I don't hear from you, you can put 2 and 2 together, right?
Yeah, obviously, I get that. I know.
Yeah.
I understand
what you mean. I obviously cannot speak for Moat, but what I kind of gathered, at least looking at a lot of this, is I get the idea that Moat feels like Welcome2Die just complains a lot, so he probably just tunes him out after a certain amount of time and doesn't even.
Oh yeah, that moment where he blocked me in Mortal Kombat, he literally unblocked me the next day. He said I needed a mental break. from you, pretty much.
You should see Just Rich's comment. This
Yes, Just Rich, that's exactly what this is.
What is it? Wait, well, I didn't. Okay, let me see his comment.
Rich, that cracks me up, bro. That's hilarious. He said, "What the hell is this? Dr. Phil moment for Welcome2Die. Welcome, man, the hell up." He's saying, "Be a man, take the shit, fucking move on."
Hey man, listen. If you got robbed out of $1,000 investment, I don't think you would. I think you would feel the same way as I'm feeling right now.
So you were kind of forced to buy these consoles and play these games and stuff.
It's either you do or you don't join the season. I mean, you wouldn't be able to participate.
So you have to. It wasn't like, oh, well, I got this on PS5 or I got this game, because that's a common thing even for us. Like, you know, you've got people like, perfect example, like Doobie's got SNK versus Capcom on Switch, for example, and others have it like on Steam or something, or Fightcade, or you know what I mean, like.
Unfortunately, a lot of the games didn't have crossplay that were selected.
I get that. Yeah, I get that. That's
okay.
That's the common thing.
I kind of want to shift into the next thing, and this is actually something I know a lot about, so I can kind of address this. Now, when it came to CVS2, I'm just gonna say, Cham saying you were struggling, probably just trash talk. Y'all all did that, whatever.
It was CVS 1, but yeah.
Okay, CVS 1. But when it came to Cadillacs and dinosaurs, I do kind of feel like that was a bit going too far against you. Like, it seemed like they got upset for you doing stuff you weren't doing, and then told Champ to do the very thing they were upset at you for.
Oh, and it's also in the video. There's a back-to-back clip of both, and you see the energy very different. And I get it, I'm the villain, but it's like you're trying to discourage. You're basically trying to discourage me by playing the right way. Like, if I play the way I'm supposed to play to win, then I'm a pussy, pretty much, right? I'm like, what? Okay, whatever. But it's okay for everybody else to do it. So.
Well, since I know the game pretty well by this point, I do kind of want to drop some facts, so to speak. So one of the big contentions was you attacking each other. Now, to be fair, Cham hit you first. That is what happened.
That is true.
Secondly, to actually attack someone in that game is not really easy. Like, you can literally attempt to attack them dozens of times, and it doesn't happen. But what I've noticed is it feels like if they're attacking and you attack toward them, then you can hit them.
Yeah.
It's a very weird system.
Yeah, like, I don't mind it because I have done it in the past, but like I've done that in another match with an advanced boss, and I have. But don't do that with the commentary saying that that's, you know, that you pretty much go crazy on me, and then it's okay for other people to do that, and it's just like, and in a disrespectful way, because just like when I'm playing Roderick in King of Fighters, right? Roderick is known to be a turtle player, right? So they accuse me about, oh, you're running down the time, you're playing like a pussy, you're running down the time. Well, the thing with Roderick is I pretty much force him to be an offensive player. So when I make him do that, then he opens up vulnerabilities, and it makes it easier for me to fight him because he's no longer a turtle. He's playing, he's not comfortable in that play style. So I forced that out of him, but they accuse me about using the time against him and playing like it depends on who you fight. Like, I believe, it's about styles, right? Different styles and how do you approach it. So, the way I fight Roderick is it's a mental game. It's like, you have to do certain things. Other people I fight, it'll be more of a slugfest. But if I'm fighting somebody that plays with a turtle style, right? I usually like to make them an offensive player because they're not used to that. And then that opens them up for a bunch of antis or throws or whatever because they're not used to playing that way.
So, guys, well, I don't mean to interrupt you both. I know you're but before you jump into something else, I want to acknowledge Godly's comment, and before I even do that, I just want to say I've been checking my phone. I still have not received a message from you, Moat. So please message me. I will put
Moat
this
says
on
he has
stream.
no audio. He can't hear you.
He heard me before. And
I know.
said
But
it
he's
before.
saying right now he has no audio. He can't hear.
Well, if somebody can, whoever's watching, message him and tell him to DM me whatever he wanted to show, I'm happy to show that. I'm also going to put this on stream with what Godly had to say. Because he clearly, in his eyes, you both are his friends. You know what I mean? Like, in his eyes, it's like you guys are brothers. And to him, he's like a brother to you and brother to Moat as well. And obviously it affects other people that you guys are around too, you know what I mean? So like what he said was, look man, Welcome2Die and I had our beef moment and it brought us closer, and him and Moat are my brothers and I hate seeing this beef. I want us to handle this behind the scenes whenever he's ready. So he just wants to say that to you, man.
No, yeah.
Like I want to give everyone an opportunity to speak. I'm all about that fairness and stuff. And
Yeah.
I just want to also tell you that and let you know, like, this is what probably other people are thinking too,
No, I get it and I respect it, and I appreciate Gali. We started off in turmoil, the wrong foot, but I explained to Gali that usually the closest friends in my life, we always start that way, but once you get past it and you build, you become closer, you become stronger. So that's totally normal. I've had a bunch of friends like that, believe it or not, where trash talk to them, and now we're like the best friends forever, whatever. It's normal to me.
Yeah.
At least for
I
me.
have friends in real life that we do that to each other. So I understand what you mean.
like the first day if I meet somebody and I say you're a piece of shit or whatever, it's like I wouldn't expect that 10 years from now you're probably my best man or something in my wedding, right? So shit like that happens. But I get it, and maybe we can one day, but like I said, it's just too soon. And on top of that, I feel like there's too many great talent that left the league from season 1 and season 2, and nobody has spoken up about it. And I just think it's time. And that's why I'm taking a stand, and I'm speaking for all those people that are no longer in the league. I'm speaking for your Tums. I'm speaking for your Rotendos. I'm speaking for season 1's like HDR champ. I'm speaking for people like that.
I think Moat does look at this as one-sided because he did make a comment to Godly saying, the beef is one-sided. If I didn't want to speak to him, I wouldn't have asked people to step in. I'm just waiting for the conversation to occur. So he does want to talk to you from what it seems like. I just wanted to tell you that.
And like I said, I want to get my truths out there. I wanted to get the video more detailed. That's the whole point of today, to tie everything together, and then maybe at some point in time, we can be friends again. Maybe, like I never say never, but as far as me joining the league, it's just too much of a commitment. If the belt would have went to the rightful owner, I possibly would have been a ringer for season 3. I possibly would have been a random for season 3, but that unfair treatment, I'm not trying to support anymore if you can't support me. That's all. I am not afraid to treat people the way they treat me, and that's where I stand.
Yeah, you treat others how you want to be treated. I hear that saying. We all know that. I mean, there shouldn't be favoritism. There shouldn't be whatever. But again, that's not our place to explain. How another organization runs things. Like.
It's like I know there's a lot of people that, they're on the fence. They side with Mo. They side with me. Whatever. It's not about that. It's just I'm basically giving you my experience of the league, and maybe this is something you got to look into, because this was my experience, and I know that there's many others, but they're not speaking up. So I'm pretty much just saying that. It's just about just expressing myself. There's no different than when Mo first did his Put Your Quarters in the Glass tournament. He came out with a video expressing his experience with the tournament, right? So what is the difference? I'm expressing my experience with season 2.
I think one of the main differences for a lot of people is you're contesting the results of it.
Oh no.
Yeah,
I am at closure. I am at closure. I am contesting it, but at the same time, I feel like I am the undisputed champion. The receipts prove that. And that's how I'm gonna go with life. Like I'm moving forward. If everything was fair game, look, where there's smoke, there's fire. And in that video, I explained there was 8 games that were biased. Not one game that I beat him showed up in the finals, but Cham can't say the same. You know, he beat everybody in Mega Man X. It popped up there. He's a C player in Super Puzzle Fighter. It's there. He does well on Mario 3 challenge. But Mo knew my time limit, so he switched the challenge up. He switched the way they normally play, where we both go at the same time. So a lot of things favored him. Yu-Gi-Oh favored him. You know,
as a competitor,
it's just where there's smoke, there's fire. And I'm not making that up.
I have a question for you. As a competitor myself, because I've competed in events, I've competed in things too previously. You know, before we started facilitating, even though we've been facilitating events since freaking 2001 now, Tom? Like, when did we do this in X Team? Like, come on.
Yeah, 2001.
But even before X Team and all that, like, I competed in events too, so I can relate. I understand how you feel. What would give you closure to feel like? I guess what I'm trying to say is, you feel as though things weren't fair, right? Now, Cham I don't know how he feels. I haven't spoken to him. You know, if he is out there in the chat and wants to say something, he can say something. I'll definitely highlight it. I'll definitely...
I can answer that for you because he's already said it. He feels like he won fairly.
Okay, well, if, let's say, Welcome2Die, an opportunity came about where you and Cham could actually play certain games against one another or something, would you? Where it would be fair or something?
Yeah, I mean, like, I played him throughout season 1 and season 2, and it doesn't, like I mentioned it, I am more than happy to play any. I'm more than happy to. You're just not on that channel.
You're cutting out a little, but
sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yeah. No, because
I said I'm more than happy to play anybody, any competitor, but in a different channel. Like right now, I just don't want to support that channel.
No, I get that. I myself, like if I felt like, it's kind of like if you've seen Cobra Kai, for example, you know, like if anybody that's watched that show,
I love that show.
Yeah, it's a fucking.
I'm all caught up now. I'm all caught up now.
Me too.
We could talk after that.
We will. I am too. So shout out and respect on that. So like, you know what happened with Tori and how she felt cheated and all of that because of what Silver did. So in a sense, let's make the comparison here. So like Tori, for example, she wants that fair fight with LaRusso's kid. What's her name?
Spoilers. Spoiler. Not everybody's seen it, dude.
Sorry, my bad. But that's basically what happens. So in a short thing. So like, what I'm saying is that if I was in that scenario,
I'll tie that up real quick so it doesn't spoil anything. But Blast would get it. Cham would be Tori in this situation, where it didn't even matter. He still needs to prove himself.
Ooh. Well, I guess that's you calling out a challenge in a sense.
Okay,
maybe.
So we're going to get on to all that stuff, but I got 2 more points I want to touch on before we get to that.
You've got plenty. You've got time. We've
moving
got time.
on from Cadillacs and Dinosaurs and kind of going into the KOF match that he mentioned against Roderick. Now, again, there's no real way that I can talk about this without feeling like I'm choosing a side, and for the most part, I'm not. But in this instance, I watched the stream, so I kind of have to agree with Welcome2Die that just like with Cadillacs and Dinosaurs, they jump on him for using strategies, then tell Roderick to do the same thing.
I saw that.
Then when that doesn't work, they get mad at Welcome2Die for the new strategy. Like, in this essence, like, he already touched on it somewhat, but basically, he's using a decent amount of projectiles. They call it cheap. Roderick starts doing that. They cheer Roderick. So Welcome to Die is beating him with Clark. Roderick gets a life lead. They tell Roderick to run out the clock. Then when Welcome to Die has a life lead, he just sits back and lets the timer go out, and they trash him for that. So,
Wait,
I mean, that
let
to
me
me is
interject.
hypocrisy.
Let me just interject though, because they did do that, but in the video I showed that it forced Roderick to come at me, and I ended up getting the last hit with 2 seconds on the clock. So I didn't win by the timer. I took all his health away.
To be fair, the fact that you were turtling in the corner is the only reason why he got flustered and made a mistake. Again, win is a win. Not taking that from you. I'm just saying.
But that's why I had to flip it on him. I had to become the turtle to make him aggressive. So it's like Roderick, I'll praise him on his defense. He has great defense. But when you turn a great defense fighter into an offense fighter, and they're not used to that, that's my advantage. So that's what I was doing. It's not just playing the time. It was matching up with the styles. Like, if you're going to turtle me, I'm going to try to make you break out of that. And when you turtle me, I'll probably use the time against you.
Well, this is where I get confused, though, because your follow-up clip to that was Moat coming onto the stream and saying a win is a win, cheese or not, and I was there for that. So I don't exactly get why it was such a problem with how you beat Roderick then, when later Moat is saying that that's fine because a win is a win. Yeah. That's what confuses me.
The hypocrisy meter was on was over 9,000.
I just highlighted a comment. EG says, "Win is definitely a win. Again, change your strategy and to adjust and adapt." I don't think he's wrong.
It's like if that's what I'm saying. Styles make fights, and you have to adjust accordingly. So if I'm playing a turtle player, which is Roderick in this instance, then I'm going to use the clock against you. Same way I did with Console Fanboy. Console Fanboy, he loves to turtle in Mortal Kombat 1. So I would use the time against him to break him out of that. So a lot of rounds ended up with the timer because he loves turtling. But what do you do in that situation?
It's like EA Sports. It's in the game.
Yeah. Do I go in there reckless when I know he's turtling and no, because I know that he's going to counter me. So that strategy doesn't work. So you have to switch it up. So I feel that sometimes it's better to get the person to play in an uncomfortable style so you can have the advantage.
Yeah, and for me, I think the thing of it is, you can't really jump on one person for spamming projectiles and then cheer the other person for doing that.
That happened a lot.
Unfair to me.
But that happened a lot, and their justification is that I was the villain, and I will give them that. A lot of times I was okay. It's okay to boo me. What's not okay is when you stack the odds against me. Like, no, that's when you're crossing the line. Like, it should be a fair, balanced contest with everybody, villain or hero. Fair contest. But a lot of times everything was stacked against me.
Yeah, now that's not to say that they didn't treat you like the villain you portrayed. I'm sure that did come up a lot because, again, you have a tendency to trash talk. You have a tendency to gloat.
Yeah.
I understand somebody wanting to come along and put you in your place because you're bragging. I get that.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong
that's
with
the question.
Per se.
But that's when you have to ask yourself the question of what's the limit? What line can you not or you can cross? Like, what's the limit with that? So they feel like if I'm the villain, they can say and do whatever they want, when that's not the case. So, when you call me my government name or you downplay a family emergency, at that point, I'm not welcome to die. You are attacking me personally. So, in those situations, other situations where you booing me, that's fine. I don't care. But when you start calling me out my name and you start calling me names, that I don't want to say, in case kids are watching. But when you're doing that, it's like, come on, at that point, like even WWE nowadays, they've been PG for a long time, right? They don't even do that. They're about to, but that's a different story.
So yeah, and I mean, I just want to like extend that fairness to Moat because again, I'm sure a lot of what did go on was rooting against you because you were the villain. I think that's totally fair. Just
Yeah.
yes, for you, some things took it too far,
And other
and I get
people,
Yeah, yeah,
like that said that made him better in the games. Like EG, he
yeah.
said you wore the villain cloak well, and that made him play better. So you
Yeah,
know,
no, it's
he's
cool,
giving
man.
me
I mean, and they
respect
might.
on that.
And the funny thing is, I'm probably still the villain, even though that the season's over, and that's okay. Everybody's entitled to their view.
Well, I mean, to be fair, if you weren't the villain before, after the video you made, you're the villain to them now. And I
I,
wouldn't
I'll
really
take.
blame them for thinking of you that
I,
way.
but you know what? It's all perspective. Like I said before, the villain is the hero in this story, and that's how I'm taking it.
I just also wanted to
Okay.
tell you guys that I personally messaged Moat in the chat to say if he wants to share something, he can. And I was referring to what he said that he wanted to share before. So I'm not trying to make him look bad. I'm just telling him that if he wants to, he can DM me, and I will be happy to put that on stream. So I just wanted to say that again.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
Look,
so
I get it. I get the fact that, and I want to say this and I want to throw this out there. Right now, I feel, in my opinion, Mo is in full damage control. And what he wrote on his Discord after the video dropped, a lot of it was lies. A lot of it were lies. And I feel right now the motive of him talking to me and all this other stuff is for me to just take down my video and not put everything on blast. Pun intended, I guess, or no pun intended. But that's
get
what
that all
that's
the
about.
time.
So I'm curious, like I have to think, like, is it genuine that he wants to really talk, or is he really doesn't want me to tell the truth, doesn't want me to expose the truth? Like, I don't know. The motives behind all of it, because I know he has deeper issues with UAG, and that's a whole other thing. And they're still talking about it. So it's like,
He
I
doesn't
don't
have
know,
any.
man.
He doesn't have any issues with me, and I have no issues with him. And I want to be
Yeah.
clear on that again. And that's
Yeah.
why I'm saying to him right now specifically that if he wants, I want to keep things fair. So if he wants to share something, I will share it. Now, whether or not how he, interprets things or whatever he says, that's not my business, really.
As for
You
me,
know,
I'm just sharing my experience with season 2. That's all.
I know.
Yeah,
And if he wants to,
and
if he wants to also talk here, I'm happy to give him space so he can talk and share his experiences as well. I want to make
Yeah.
it fair. So I just wanted to say that we're not really into this drama stuff, but we wanted to give you an opportunity to talk because you felt like you wanted to just speak. And again, you came to us. You were very sympathetic about things.
and I appreciate it, and I'm fully aware that people are gonna hold to their guns, stick to their guns, and have loyalty with Mo, it's okay. I'm just speaking my truth. Like, I can't please everybody. Um, I tell you what I experienced. If you want to believe me or not, that's up to you. I have closure. I know that I won. I know that I am the season 1 and season 2 champion, and that's me. Whether you agree with that or not, that's
That's
fine.
like I was saying
we're
before. I think like if you could think and go about it however you wish, but like maybe like when I
Yeah,
was giving the example with Tori, like she was seeking some closure or things like that.
yeah.
Something like that may be like I don't know if Cham would be willing even, but for you guys to maybe come on a common ground. I'm not saying for us to facilitate or anyone else to facilitate
Look,
this, but even for you guys, just for you both to get together, play these certain games or whatever, and just to really see how you both do.
yeah, like, look, never say never, but I already know Cham is disgusted by the whole situation, and he's already came out publicly saying that he's lost all respect for me, and that's okay, because I never wanted his respect anyway. Like, with all due respect, so it is what it is. At best
Okay.
case, he was an associate to me. So if he doesn't want to talk to me no more, then I'm not forcing anybody to talk to me.
Yeah, I
Okay,
understand
so-
your point of view on that too. Go ahead.
I got one more small thing I want to cover before we get into the playoffs and the championship.
I need to step away
So-
for a sec. You guys go ahead. I'll be right back.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
So one last thing that I feel like maybe wasn't explained well enough. So you had a wager match with Blood Tide.
Yes.
It was kind of like a special condition wager match because, as I understand it, you couldn't challenge him. So Moat made a special exception to let you two have a wager match. And
Yeah.
it was going to be a best out of 3 games. You pick one, he picks one, and the third would be Moat's choice.
Random choice. Yeah.
No, I'm just saying. Okay.
No, yeah.
So, do you want to explain the process of how that started and how it went?
I think because we were just trash talking each other, and Mo wanted that to stop, and he wanted us to just play a match to settle it out, to settle everything, right? Just to get it out of our system.
Okay.
So I said, cool, fine. So I picked Tekken, and
Yeah.
or I forget which. So many events, but I know we pretty much ended up 1-1, and it ended up Mo had to pick the final game. And in the video I showed that it wasn't a neutral game. He intentionally picked Guilty Gear, where he's probably the strongest in the league when it comes to Guilty Gear Strive. So, leading to that though,
I would agree with that actually.
and then leading to that was, prior to that, like in the video, Mo, I went up to Mo and I said, Mo, if I go to your Marvel vs. Capcom tournament and I start catching people with raging demons, can we make a bounty for that? He agreed to that, right? So I said, cool, I'm going to join your tournament and I'm just going to get as many
still streaming.
bounties
I
as I
just wanted
can.
to find out
That was
if
the
you're
whole
okay.
point. I didn't care about winning or losing that Marvel vs. Capcom tournament. I
You
went in
okay?
there, rack up. I think I got like 100 points, 75 points, something like that.
I believe you said it was 75.
75. Okay, so we'll stick with 75.
And
But Moat
the
changes
crispy
the
chicken
rules
sandwich combo.
on stream,
That'd be awesome.
and he's like, because Cham
I love you.
Cham was complaining on stream.
Do I
and
Diet
then
Coke
Bloodside,
fries? Yeah. But we can share the
mentioned,
20
hey,
piece
just
nuggets.
tag it on to our event. And that wasn't
Yes,
the original
yes. Extra mayo,
agreement.
please.
You know what I mean? Like, I made time to show up to your Marvel vs. Capcom tournament. We agreed to this thing. So I
Of course.
essentially wasted my time. Like, I
All right,
wouldn't
I'm
have
going
done
back
that
to the
tournament
thing. I love
otherwise. But you turned it into, no, you still got to fight for those points. You got to fight Bloodside. And then he made it even harder to obtain those points because he picked the game that favored Bloodside, which was, Guilty Gear Strive. Now, mind you, I really trained hard, and I knew that Bloodside was good at Guilty Gear Strive, and I appreciated it at the end because I'm like steel sharpens steel. So I got really good towards the end of the season at Guilty Gear because I had to fight Bloodside. But that's beyond the point. It's just to tie it together. But that shouldn't have happened. Like, if we make an agreement, you don't change the rules on the fly. So, yeah.
Yeah. And then, as far as Guilty Gear Strive goes, wasn't it he told you the night before that that's what the game was going to be? So you really weren't
Yeah,
going
pretty
to
much.
catch up to Blood Tide in that because,
Yeah.
I know.
Wait,
Yeah.
you
I'm
guys
pretty
can
sure
do
Blood
that?
Tide has
Yeah.
told me he was a bit.
He said on the
rusty at
stream.
Guilty Gear. Yeah, it was the
Mhm.
previous stream. So Blood
Yeah.
Tide has told me he was a bit rusty at Strive, but to be fair, he's still pretty good at Guilty Gear.
Hold on a second.
That is kind of his thing.
You guys heard me talking to my wife?
No, what?
No.
What are you talking about?
It's funny because people like Just Rich said sandwich combo for the win at Blast with the extra mayo. How do you know that I got
Oh.
extra mayo?
Because
Oh, I know. I muted it on Discord, but I didn't mute it on the actual stream. That's hilarious.
oh my gosh.
My bad. My bad.
Okay,
That's
so
funny.
essentially,
That's hilarious.
You both got to pick a game, and
Sorry about that. That's
Moat said
hilarious.
he could pick whatever
Technical
game
difficulties.
he wanted, but it wasn't a fair, neutral game because Blood Tide is really good at Guilty Gear, and you were not at that point.
I think this should be highlighted because that was blatant. That was really blatant, especially the way we showed the examples. When I showed that example showing Blood Tide, like when he did the Guilty Gear tournament, Moat said he favored him to win that tournament. Right? That
I
was the
just
example.
reading the comments. I'm sorry. That shit is
Oh my gosh,
hilarious.
I'm gonna kill you, Blast. I'm gonna kill you.
That shit is hilarious. I'm gonna go back and watch that.
Yeah.
Later. Sorry, my bad.
Anyway.
My bad. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So that's a prime example of he did it again. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Blast, did you mute us? I can hear you. I think Blast had us both muted.
Technical difficulties.
What about now?
How long were we muted for?
Probably 30 seconds.
So,
Okay, now I'm just having fun. My bad, guys. Go ahead. I had to add something to the stream. You know, it gets a little serious. You know what? Blame it on the puppy.
You completely derailed him. You know, you completely derailed him.
I'm sorry.
I mean, I don't know where I left off. I don't know where we left off now. Because
I'm sorry. I'll just try to summarize this so he doesn't do that again. So, on one hand, Blood Tide did not win that Guilty Gear tournament. But Moat did acknowledge how good at Guilty Gear he was. So he knew Blood Tide was better than you at Guilty Gear when he made that third pick, is what you're saying.
And my point was that that's a prime example of what he did in the Grand Championship. He picked the game to favor my opponent. He did that with Yu-Gi-Oh! And he did that with Puzzle Fighter. He was fully aware, just like he knew Blood Tide was favored to win the tournament, he was fully aware that those were his games. Those were not neutral games. Moat knows that I lab constantly when he gives out a list of games. He intentionally did not give out the list of games for the finale. Only 7-Eleven Monday games, but these Fightcade games were supposed to be random neutral games, and they weren't. One thing I question, and I can't prove, but I question this. During those 2 weeks where I was training either by myself or with you or anybody else, I was training for those games, right? During those 2 weeks, I can look at Discord. I can see what Cham is playing. All he's playing is VR games and Yu-Gi-Oh! That's all he's playing. He wasn't taking it seriously. So that leads me to believe that it's all speculation. I can't prove anything. But all of a sudden, Yu-Gi-Oh! Gets put onto the wheel 20 hours before the championship. So he was training in that game that you called out 20 hours before the championship. And I find it funny that he wasn't training for anything but VR games that wouldn't have been on the wheel. So why? Because he felt confident enough that he knew, like it's just one of those things. I can't prove anything, but I don't think if you're not taking it seriously, something's up, especially with all the smoke that I've been pointing out.
Well, now maybe it's just my opinion, but I don't get the feeling that Cham is the type of person to really train at a game unless others are playing with him. That's just my opinion.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, as far as that, it's just like, look, I can't prove that Cham was involved. All I do know is that Mo helped him out. That's all. I wouldn't be surprised, but at the same time, at the very least, I can point out facts that Mo helped him win. That's all.
Okay, so to respond to Morph really quickly, we have said to Moat if he wants to come on and do his own interview, we most definitely will give him that. Just to be fair, we just don't want them on at the same time. That's all. Okay, so let's move into the playoffs. Like, this is where the real issue started. This is where we're going to talk about were the results fair or were they not? So, we started off with a big problem right off the bat. You guys had played a tournament, and you were basically choosing whoever won would get a second ticket in the playoffs, basically. So you had two
Oh, so we're
spots,
talking about
whereas
last
everyone else
chance.
had one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, at some point during the league, Moat gave people the opportunity to buy the first game that was played, which you purchased,
Yes.
which was chess. And I know because I practiced this with you technically, we played every chess game on Fightcade to see what played the best. We went through all of them. And then suddenly, without me knowing, but apparently you talked to Moat about this, it was all of a sudden on chess.com.
Yeah.
And that's where a big problem came in. If you want to talk about what happened during the playoffs with chess.
Yeah. See, so I guess I was being too nice because as for presentation to make it look nice for the viewers, chess.com would have looked great versus any of those chess fightcade games. So
That is
I was
true.
thinking, so that was my thought process, is like, I want to help out. I want to make the presentation look sweet and nice. Because I love chess, man. I've been playing it since a teenager. So I wanted to put it in a proper display. So that's why when he gave me the option, I said, sure, let's do that. Like, I want to represent it well. So let's do that. But what followed made me regret that decision because the invite system was convoluted. It just didn't work out. And as you saw, I ended up getting DQ'd. But in Fightcade, those invitations would have been on the public lobby, and it would have been a lot easier to accept versus chess.com. And that's what I should have went with. By that mistake cost me that whole thing because that was a domino effect that led to one of my accounts, one of my players, Welcome2Die 2, going down to the loser bracket. And it just changed everything. And it was very unfair because I didn't even get to play. So I already know that nobody really plays chess in that league. I actually played Moat in the season. He's mediocre. So nobody was trying to play it. So I was just like, whatever. So when they asked me after that, after the playoffs, what game I wanted to play, of course I wanted to play chess because I didn't get to play it. I got screwed out of that.
Yeah. And again, I was there for this. You actually had two computers set up so that you could play Fightcade on two accounts.
Yeah, I had my laptop. Well, my laptop was Welcome2Die 2, and my desktop was Welcome2Die. So we ended up going that way, and I trained for that. I started playing games that whole leading up to that tournament. I was playing simultaneously on both sides.
Okay, I actually did not remember you were playing chess leading up.
No, I did play just to test it out, like
okay,
when it came about, but not that week of. No, it was just to test out, like leading to it, because remember, chess was actually a tournament before that. So there was supposed to be a chess tournament, and that got canceled to spite Welcome2Die. So I was just training in that sense, just to, because he wanted to do 5-minute clock, so, or actually bullet time, which is 1 minute, and I was training for the 1 minute. So whatever, I ended up not playing at all. So it is what it is.
Okay, so for the playoffs, Mode had a countdown timer running, to where as soon as it ended, everyone had to be in their match or they were disqualified. And the problem for you is that you had to play twice in the first round. So that kind of made it more difficult for you than anybody else.
Yeah, that was also by design, intentional. Because I've reached out to Mo and I'm saying, can we do that one at a time? No, you have to go at the same time. And I mean, I like the challenge, but it should have been offered if I wanted to do it one at a time. But no, he wanted to give me that disadvantage. So he was
Okay.
like, no, you have to do it at the same time.
And one of your opponents, C Smooth, was disqualified because he wasn't ready in time.
Yeah.
But Mode also disqualified your other account for not being in your game with Advanced Boss when the timer ran out.
Yeah.
But
I never saw the invitation on my screen. They've said that they saw it on his. I'm not sure. I've never went back to like really look at that segment. But I never got an invitation in either account. And it was really suspect and fishy to me in the video. Like Moat said, don't send an invite until the timer's done, Advanced Boss. So if you're not sending an invite till the timer's done and he's the host of the lobby, that means when the timer is done, Welcome2Die gets DQ'd, essentially.
okay.
So I pointed it out in my video. I was like, what? That doesn't make any sense because you're pretty much saying Moat said, he said it on stream, don't send Welcome2Die an invite until the timer's down. He got caught red-handed saying that. And then Advanced Boss was like, yeah, I'm not going to send you an invite just yet until the timer's down, listening to what Moat said. And I was like, that makes no sense. If I'm not in the lobby and the 3 minutes is down, I'm going to get DQ'd. And that's exactly what happened.
Okay. And unfortunately, again, this timer thing seems to have stopped being in effect after round 1, from what I saw.
Which is very, very frustrating. Very frustrating because it definitely showed favoritism. It definitely showed that I was targeted because you're not implementing that rule throughout. You decided to drop that rule around the second round mark because we saw, Chan play against Toxin. After 3 minutes was over, they still got to play when Toxin was supposed to get DQ'd. And then well over 3 minutes, Cham is still fixing buttons. Like they're supposed to play instantly, not after the 3 minute mark, but nobody got DQ'd.
Okay, so as far as the TMNT match goes, that would be the next thing, obviously, because that was round 2, I believe.
Yeah.
Now, I will agree with you that Toxin should have been disqualified. Again, I was present for this. The timer ran out. Toxin was in charge of sending the invite to Cham. They were not in game, but Toxin did not get disqualified, whereas you did.
Yeah. That's was the problem. I have no problems with Toxin. Toxin's cool. Shout out to Toxin. But if you're not going to be consistent with your rules, then why have the rules at all?
Yeah, and I did mention that in the chat during the playoffs, and Moat even read out what I said. So he knows that they were not started by the time that their match was supposed to go.
Yeah.
Now, as far as Cham goes, I don't necessarily agree that he was changing buttons after. He does say my controls weren't working, but he could have just played with messed up controls. And that wouldn't have been against the rules.
Well, he did swap his buttons. I put it in the video.
No. What I heard, he accidentally went into that menu because he didn't know his controls were messed up, and he didn't know that was him doing it. He thought Toxin was doing it.
Okay. But regardless, it's a moot point because Toxin should have got DQ'd.
Yes, that I agree with. Toxin should have gotten DQ'd.
Yeah.
Now, this actually did heavily impact the tournament because with your first chess account getting DQ'd, you went down to the losers bracket instead of moving both your accounts forward. And again, no offense to Advanced Boss, he wouldn't have beat you at chess.
No, he wouldn't. He knows. I tried to play him for funsies. I tried to play him after. He said, I uninstalled it. I seen Advanced Boss play chess against Mo. He just started learning how to play. I've been playing for 20 plus years. I'm sorry, but it wouldn't have happened. The only way Advanced Boss could have beat me is what happened. I got DQ'd. That's the only way. And it's just I have 20 plus years of chess. If you started playing today, you're not beating me. Sorry.
Yeah, chess is not really that kind of game where you can just go pick up and be good in a few days. That's not how that happens. So at least in your opinion, since the timer rule wasn't enforced fairly, both your accounts should have made it to round 2, which was TMNT.
Yeah. And yeah,
Now,
and then it brings the question. He probably would have kept the time. I mean, we can't prove anything, but being that both my accounts made it, he probably would have held on to that rule a little bit longer, just the way it looked. You know, it just felt like he was hell bent to drop one of my accounts to the loser bracket. But yeah, the second round with Chapman Toxin, the timer didn't matter. And then I think after that, you didn't even hear about the timer for the rest of the event. Like that rule just completely went out the window.
he did still display the timer on screen, but yeah, I don't remember that ever mattering at that point.
Yeah,
It was just
it
those
was
two
done.
incidences where it actually had an effect.
And the only and when we looked at the bracket, Mortal Kombat 3 and Mortal Kombat 2. Well, Mortal Kombat 3, there was no way I was going to play anybody. I would have just bumped into myself in Ultimate. The MK2, you know, the only MK2 players that were a threat there was Gali and Advanced Boss. But if I didn't get screwed in chess, that would have been bypassed. I wouldn't have played Advanced Boss in MK2. And
Okay.
we saw with Mario, with my time record, when I put it in the video, I beat both Advanced Boss and Cham in it. So that wouldn't have been an issue. I'm a firm believer if I didn't get screwed out of that chess match, both my accounts would have made it to the championship. And at one point, Moat said that would be it of the season. That would be the end of it. But then a few moments later, he changed his mind and said, Welcome2Die at that point would have to face third place, and he gets to pick 3 games. Now, that didn't happen, unfortunately, but I feel like Cham ended up getting that perk regardless.
Okay. So let's play what if in this scenario. Let's say you didn't get DQ'd in chess. That would have pushed both your accounts forward, where you would have played Bloodtide and Haffy in no. Yeah, you would have played Bloodtide and Haffy in TMNT. We know you won your match with Bloodtide. Do you believe you would have beaten Haffy?
Yeah, 100%. I've seen him play TMNT. He doesn't play that well. Yeah, I would have ran through him.
And as you and I talked about, like, even if the timer had still been in effect, the game itself doesn't have a timer, so you could have easily stalled after starting the match.
Yeah,
you wouldn't have gotten disqualified.
That was the crazy thing. I had told Tom, you know, when you pick a character, they give you like 3 minutes to pick a character. So if Mo was gonna play that game against me, I could easily have one screen waiting on the character selection screen, beat Bloodtide, then go back and play Haffy, and that would be completely legal.
Okay, so again, let's say you move forward with both there. That would put both your accounts against each other in Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3, which obviously one has to go forward, one has to go into the loser's bracket. So I don't really need to deal much with the winner's bracket going forward, because in the next match, you played Cham, you won, that would have happened regardless. But the loser's bracket would have also been a bit different. You would have still dropped down to play Mortal Kombat 2, but, and this is just my opinion, you might share this opinion as well, you would not have been facing the same opponent in Mortal Kombat.
Yeah. No, I don't remember who it would have been when I looked at that. But yeah, it wouldn't have been Gali or Advanced Balls. Like the bracket changed. Like this was the equivalent of the butterfly effect. The littlest thing changed the entire event.
Okay, well, I have the playoffs pulled up here, so I'll tell you. Had you not gotten DQ'd in chess, Godly and Advanced Boss would have played Street Fighter the movie The Game in round 1.
Yeah.
Now, I'm a firm believer that Godly is better at that game. I think he would have won that.
I agree with that. The tournament says so. Like they played against each other in the last Street Fighter movie, the
Yes.
game tournament, and Advanced Boss picked Vega, and Gali ended up beating him with Balrog. So I think that would have happened again.
Right. Oh, I mean, I agree with you there. So then you would have had C Smooth and Godly in Real Bout Fatal Fury, which that to me is a toss up. I don't know how good either of them are at that game.
Yeah. C Smooth, I did beat him. I ended up playing him with one of my accounts. I beat him there. And Gali, I don't think, with that game, respectfully, I don't think he was putting that much time into that game. So I should have been all right. Yeah, I would say, I would probably put myself over in that. Because Gali doesn't play a lot of Fight K games. Like Gali is more of a modern, like he likes playing on the consoles, like the Mortal Kombat. He does play SNK games. He's great at King of Fighters 15. He beat me there. But like these old school games, he admits it himself. It's not his cup of tea.
Okay. So we can just say the winner between C Smooth and Godly would have advanced, and they would have played you in Mortal Kombat 2, which would have been a different opponent. Now, I don't mean to downplay C Smooth. He wouldn't have beat you in Mortal Kombat 2. That would have been your game. Do you think if Godly had made it there, you would have beaten him at Mortal Kombat 2?
That's a toss-up. It is a toss-up, but I have beaten Gali. Like, even with Advanced Boss, that was 50-50. So, with Advanced Boss and Gali, if I'm playing them in Mortal Kombat 2, it's a 50-50. But I did beat Gali last time we played. So,
Okay.
That's all I could say.
So you do at least feel like, even if it's a slight advantage, you would have had the advantage there.
Yeah, I think if MK2 had I gone past that, all the other games I would have killed it with Mario.
Okay, well we're gonna get there.
Yeah.
We're gonna get there.
Yeah.
So what we've established so far, you would have made it to MK2, but again, most likely your opponent would have been different. C Smooth would have been a win for you. Godly might have been a win for you, but you think you would have beat him. So let's move forward.
Like if I would have beat C Smooth, I would have beat C Smooth with MK2. He doesn't play MK2 like that. So I would have beat him.
As far as I know.
So it all and from what I understand, I would have beat Gali because he wasn't playing the best that day. He was feeling sick. So I hate to take advantage of that situation, but if you're not feeling your best, then I would have won that.
Okay. So move past that. Then you would have played Blood Tide in Double Dragon 2. And I think even Blood Tide will admit he would have lost that.
Yeah, no, Blood Tide jumped off the roof, if I recall. Like
yes,
he played
did.
Double Dragon.
Yes.
So when me and you played Double Dragon, we pretty much got up to the last boss. So I would have. Yeah, the way they were playing, either Advanced Boss or Blood Tide, it would have had made a difference. I would have won Double Dragon.
Okay, but I mean, Advanced Boss wouldn't have been there. You would have had to play Blood Tide. And Blood Tide knows that he's not exactly an aficionado when it comes to Double Dragon 2. So I'm sure he will admit he wouldn't have beat you at it. So that would have led you...
He jumped off the roof multiple times, I think, right?
No.
It was more than once? Okay.
So that would have led you to Losers Final against Cham in Super Mario Bros. 3 First to World 8. Now, I know you cannot prove this, but I saw your time in Mario 3 then, and you did do better than him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but in the video, you go back to the video, I showcase my time. I started Mario at the same time that Cham and Advanced Boss started. So I started the same exact time as them, and I was able to finish it before both of them.
Okay, but like, to be fair, like, honestly, you could have tried that 50 times and just showed whatever you got the best time was. But I know on that day what your time was. So I'm just throwing that out.
No. Mm-hmm.
So
no, it's true.
That would have meant you'd have been first and second in the playoffs.
Exactly. I
So
am a firm believer of that.
that is a real scenario that, had you not gotten disqualified in chess, could have very well happened. And I actually think that had a good chance of happening. Your only real hiccup was Mortal Kombat 2, which you lost to Advanced Boss. That was a fair loss, but he most likely would not have been there had you not gotten disqualified in chess.
Yeah, it's just a different outcome. It's an example of the butterfly effect. The littlest thing changed the outcome, and it's unfortunate that the littlest thing was intentionally to rob me. Like, come on, like, we could have set that chess match up. You could have, he could have just messaged me, if anything, on the chat. We could have got it done, but it didn't happen. And I know Moat, when he said I was disqualified, he said it in a gleeful way. Like, he was really happy that I got disqualified.
Well, I mean, I can't really touch that because that's
Yeah.
subjective. Like,
I just how I felt. I
yeah,
understand.
I'm not going to claim that Moat intentionally cheated you because I can't prove
Yeah.
that. But I can
Yeah,
say
well,
that timer was not enforced fairly. That
yeah.
is true.
Well, like that's what I said. It was very convoluted, and I pointed it out in the message where, if you're the host, right, and you're supposed to send me an invite, let's say you don't send the invite, or you send it or whatever, but Mo tells you don't start the match until 3 minutes is up. If I'm not in the room, you didn't start the match. Like, it almost felt like, the way I pointed it out in the video, it was like intentional. Like, let's DQ Welcome to Die in that. So at least that's what I believe. But yeah, that was the only way I was going to lose to Advanced Boston Chess. That was the only way.
Okay, so I do want to address Base Guy TV in chat. What was the stake here again? A belt and like $50? Actually, it was a lot more than that, which Welcome to Die covered earlier.
Yeah, it was the belts, different belts, first place, second place, third place. And I think the prize pool was 70% for first place, 30% for second place. It ended up like, first place got like $180. Second place, I got like $82. So I essentially got robbed from $100. That is my firm belief.
Well, it's also how much time and money you spent on the league itself.
Yeah, time, money, and of course that prize money does not cover the investments you make on the system and the games to play in the league. So, was the prize worth it? Nah, not really. You pay more than what it is.
Okay, so now Blood Tide says chess was fair. It was messy, but it was fair. I went back and watched through that. Boss had an invite out to him and stream up with more than 2 minutes on the clock after the clock even got reset. Okay, so see, at least for me, chess is one of those things where, is it your opinion it was fair or not? Some people are going to feel like it was, some people are going to feel like it wasn't. My only gripe is that the timer was not enforced the same way later on. That's my only beef with it.
Yeah, because Toxin still got to play. He didn't get DQ'd. And I obviously was trying to play. I was on the live stream talking, pretty much yelling like, "Come on, man, send me the invite." I was obviously trying to play.
See, Marvel, what did he lose? Again, like, all of y'all put a lot of time and money into this league. You all paid your dues for this league. So, to him, he feels like he was cheated out of first place. So, to him, he wasted a lot of time and money on that. Now, that's up to everyone's opinion. If you think he lost fairly, then you won't see it that way. But I'm just saying that's what he feels like.
Yeah. It was an investment. Like, yes, I got the exception that I didn't have to pay to the entry fee to get in, but we all had to upgrade to Series X, and we all had to get all the games, which add up to around $1,000. So, to do all that and then not win at the end, like, if it was legitimate, I would have been okay with it. Like I've taken L's, like it's okay. Like it's a learning experience. I'll take it that way. If you beat me legitimately, I say good game, let's play again. But if you have to cheat to beat me, then I'm not gonna say those things. I'm gonna say, hey, you used foreign objects to beat me. Like it doesn't even matter. So that's my thing. Like people are probably gonna say, oh, he's a sore loser and all this. Listen, I lost to Zohar a bunch of times. I was console fanboy, excuse me. I lost to console fanboy a bunch of times in Mortal Kombat 1. And I ended up rematching him a bunch of times. Like I said, good game. Let's just play again. He would cut a promo right after he beat me, cut multiple promos, and I took it in stride. I was like, okay, good one. Let's play again. Let's play again. This is the time where I'm saying I lost, but it wasn't fair.
Okay.
So that's all. Like, so I want to put that notion out because I know people are going to say, oh, he's just crying because he lost. I was like, that's not the case. I've lost to many people. I've lost to Tom in multiple games, and we just play again. We play different games, and he can vouch for me that it's like that's not the case. Like if we lose, we play again. But if you're going to go out your way, or if there's games that are not neutral, then it's like I gotta question those things. It drives me nuts. It's like, come on, man, like that where there's smoke, there's fire. Those weren't neutral games.
Okay, so we've kind of addressed the playoffs. We presented there is a real scenario where you could have won the playoffs with both your accounts. Not a guarantee, but there is a good chance had you not gotten DQ'd in chess, that would have happened.
Yes. I would
Not
say
a
over
promise,
90%
but
chance.
a good chance. Yeah, okay.
I would say enough to complain about it. It was over like a 95% chance because I would say in the 90s.
95% chance because I like
I
even if Godly was sick, I don't think I would just give you that
no,
free win in MK2
yeah,
had he gotten there,
look,
but a good chance, yes.
there's a good enough chance that it's worth talking about. That
I
it's
think
just
that's
like
fair.
I don't want to put a number on it, but there was a good enough chance that it was like I intentionally felt like I got screwed out of that chess match, and that pretty much was a domino effect. It changed everything.
I can see that. Yeah. That's very possible. So, going on to the championship, because like you already covered the other thing I was going to say. Yes, Moat did say early on if both your accounts made it to the finals, there would be no championship. And then he rethought that later on because obviously, if there was no championship, then things would have ended that night. That was never really their intention. I don't know why he said that, honestly. Knowing that they were planning on a championship, I would have just never brought that up personally.
Yeah, it's a weird thing because the way I see it is okay. We have to look at the essence of that ticket, the last chance ticket, right? That last chance ticket. Let's say Rotendo or C Marvel would have won, right? For an example, the last
Yeah.
chance ticket. Then that's an entry in itself. They made it all the way over there, then they get to go to the grand finals. They don't play third
Right.
place, right? So,
Yeah.
but if I make both of my accounts over there, then it was like, no, you have to play third place. It's kind of weird when you
Well,
look at it in that perspective.
I think that Moat didn't really think about how that was going to work until he said it out loud. Once he said it, like if both Welcome2Die's accounts make the finals, there will be no championship. I think he realized after he said it that that was probably not what he intended.
Yeah.
So
He was definitely
it
thinking about that on
still,
the fly.
yeah, personally, I wouldn't have said that because that does look bad later on, but I really don't think that he intended for that to happen.
Yeah. And then to try to make things better, he said, we'll do it that way. And if Welcome2Die gets both his accounts, we'll give him the first 3 games instead of just 1 game. I would have got to pick 3 games in the grand championship. That's what he said. If I was to
Right.
make both my accounts.
Right.
I didn't. I only made 1 account, so he gave me 1 game. And like I said, that perk, those 3 games, I feel like Cham got that perk regardless. like those games favored him. So
Okay.
he ended up getting that.
So let's go over the championship then, and that'll be the last thing that I want to address tonight. So, to kind of piggyback off this, you did mention in your video season 1 final, which, as we know, you fought Roderick in the season. And now, jokingly or not, they did say on at least a few occasions where Cham was meant to win season 1.
Yeah.
Now, maybe they were joking, but they did say that. So
Oh, yeah,
I
yeah.
do understand your suspicion with that.
Yeah, no, back to season 1, I really feel that he was the golden boy. That was the guy. That was the one that they wanted to win. And when it didn't happen because of Sonic and NBA Jam, it was on Roderick, and they pretty much jumped on the Roderick bandwagon like after, and we saw what happened. Season 1's over. Come to season 2, he gets his redemption story, but I feel like it was a forced redemption story. There was things in the background that happened, and he's just an asterisk champion at this point, and that's just my opinion on it.
Okay, well, I mean, to delve into that a little bit further, I remember I was around for the season 1 finale, and I said at that time I believed there were 4 people that had a chance of winning the thing, and Cham was one of them. And I actually was surprised he didn't make the finals. And I'm not trying to take anything away from Roderick, mind you. But as an overall player, I feel like Cham did better. So it was a surprise to me you didn't fight him in the final.
Yeah.
And,
No, it was a surprise. And then in this case, Cham, in season 2, he was a part-time player. He admits it himself. He wasn't playing on all the events. He played on what he can. He was tired. He was gonna quit. That's what he was saying. He made it all the way through, and we ended up playing. But I honestly feel that the playing field was not fair. And
well,
I mean, that's what it was.
Well, I mean, Cham won a ticket early on, so he didn't really need to play a lot of the games. He already had his
Yeah.
playoff spot. He could have just
That's right.
easily skipped them.
Mhm.
Yeah. So
Yeah, he was
anyways,
seated, but
yeah.
speaking of that, like, there was this whole thing, like, the format of season 2 was supposed to follow season 1. Everything was written down on Moat's Discord, like all the
Yeah, you
rules.
mentioned that. Yeah.
The person that had the highest score gets a bye into the championship. And then in the middle of the season, he changed it. He said, no, everybody's playing in the playoffs. So, people agree to your rules. People invest their money to these rules. It's kind of unfair for you to change something like that so drastic.
I mean, honestly, I think that's just the fact that Moat doesn't meticulously plan out the entire season before starting it, and I think it's kind of just we learn as we go through it. But yeah, I could see if he did say that at the start of the season, why you might be kind of upset because you were in first for a lot of it.
Yeah, I would say, I didn't win every Monday event. I won a few of them. Gali was ahead on the Monday events, but on a point standing perspective, like the 11 months, or if it's 12, I was like at least 10 months in first place within points with all the events. Like I held that spot 10 months worth, 9 to 10 months worth, easy. And that was something that was always overlooked too. I was like, to me, I did way better in season 2 than 1. I was first place almost on a weekly basis on season 2.
Okay, but there were times you weren't in first. Like people did overtake.
Yeah,
you
there was. No,
Okay.
yeah. There was times. There were times. I'm not saying I'm not saying consecutively. Like I was just saying like maybe 8-9 months worth, but not consecutively. Like I would take if somebody knocked me down, I would take my spot back maybe 2 weeks later and then hold it on for a few more weeks.
Okay, so let's cover the championship. And again, I kind of want to address things as they happen. Now, we know chess was the first game played because you won that perk from winning the playoffs, and Cham just said he wasn't going to play. So that was a free win for you.
Yeah.
And then Yu-Gi-Oh came up, which now I don't remember as well as you do, but I do think that Moat said it was only the main games played in the season plus Fightcade games.
Yeah. Arcade games.
So, so
So
Yu-Gi-Oh
I
should
was
not have
assuming they
counted.
would be neutral. Yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh should have not counted. It was only 7-11 games. He had
Okay.
Ultimate Marvel versus Capcom 3, but Moat started like another gimmick, the 707, and that was a
Yeah.
707 event. That wasn't really a Monday's game. Ultimate Marvel versus Capcom 3 was probably only played once in the season. So that shouldn't have been on the wheel.
Mm, okay, now I've heard you mention this before that Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3 was a 707 game. Now, I believe it was played once in the season. I think that was on a Saturday, but I think that they did say it was a 7-11 game.
Well, even if that was the case, it was supposed to be a Monday's game.
Now,
It
okay,
was
well,
not.
if he said Monday games, then yeah, Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom
Yeah,
3 should not count.
yeah, it was Monday games. I vividly remember the stream. I've heard it a bunch of times. Like, because I asked him what's going to be there. He's like, going to be all the Monday games we played except the side alley games. Injustice. Like he said, that's not going to be in there.
Okay.
So Injustice wasn't there, but Ultimate Marvel versus Capcom 3 was, which doesn't make any sense.
Okay, well, I think that would kind of determine the validity of it or not. If he specified the Monday games, then yeah, that shouldn't have been on there. If he didn't specifically say
Yeah,
Monday games, they did call it 7-11. So I think that the
yeah.
way he
He
worded
he.
that is what would decide that.
Yeah. Like I said, you can go at the end of the playoffs where he mentions it. He says Monday games. I asked him on the
Okay.
call, and he says Monday games.
Okay, and that was one of the 3 games not played. The other 2, of course, being Street Fighter the movie, the game, which was your game. Cham didn't really
Yeah,
play that. And then Killer Instinct 2013. Do you
yeah.
feel like you would have won that?
So that's an interesting thing. I'm going to be honest about it. I think I would have won. Cham did like we were like I played Cham on Killer Instincts in the very beginning of the season, like the first Killer Instincts tournament, and he got
Right.
me, but it was a very like 50-50 matchup. And same thing, Gibby got me too. But throughout the season, I got really good at Killer Instincts. I got better, and I ended up beating Gibby. So I believe that Cham was not practicing that game, and I would have beaten Cham in Killer Instincts. I think I had a real good chance of beating Cham.
Okay, but you don't know if Cham got any better.
I can't, I never saw him play it again. So I really can't.
Okay,
It'd be
well,
speculation.
yeah. So I kind of want to keep that one off to the side there because I'll give you Street Fighter the movie, the game. I do think you would have won that. That was your
Yeah. I
most of the
think
people
Killer
didn't even want to
Instincts,
play
if you
that.
I would put Killer Instincts as a 50-50 game. It would
Okay.
have been to be fair to that, I would say it was a 50-50 game. I wouldn't say he
Okay,
beat
I
me.
think that would
Like
be fair.
you,
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry. Okay, so Yu-Gi-Oh again. So technically, and I know some other people have said this that really shouldn't have been on there. You feel like it was to favor Cham. You feel like he got the same perk as you did for winning the playoffs. Uh, it's one of those things where I can't say definitively like Moat did that to screw you. I can't prove that, but I will say Cham was much better at that than you. That's true.
yeah. But it's still shady for you to say less than 20 hours before the event. It's not a Fightcade game. It wasn't a
It's
Monday
not.
game, and it's on there. And
Okay.
throughout the season, Mo knows. Like I put those video examples where Cham was calling me out in Yu-Gi-Oh, and Cham had beaten me in Yu-Gi-Oh tournaments.
Yeah.
So Mo, that's a fact. He beat me in the Yu-Gi-Oh tournaments before. So yeah, absolutely, 100%. I believe that was the favorite Cham.
Okay. So after that, Mortal Kombat X came up, which you did win that. And then we get to our next contested game, which was Mega Man X. Now,
Yeah.
from my understanding, the only time you two had played Mega Man X, Cham did win that. You actually didn't even finish the stage.
Yeah, that was in the high limit tournament. I didn't play Cham particularly. That was I think Advanced Boss that played him, but we all had to do that same challenge.
Well, that's
And
kind
I
of
didn't get to yeah, I didn't get to complete that challenge. So I didn't during that time I didn't lab it. I didn't practice. I did lab and practice, afterwards because that game would have come up. But yeah, I really feel like he picked that because he knew that I didn't complete that level. He knew that Cham won that event, so it would favor him. So yeah, I'm a firm believer. He picked Mega Man X because he won that challenge against Advanced Boss, and he saw that I failed at it. On top of that, my controls were swapped like during that event, the championship event. But with Mo, he's known he could have probably DQ'd me if I wanted to change my buttons. So I ended up trying to play with the new controls on the fly. I came close to winning, came close to beating him there, but he ended up getting the Mega Man X. But then again, it favored him. So I wasn't surprised.
Now, to be fair, again, the whole control thing that you don't really know if he would have disqualified you or not. You're just kind of
No, I don't. I was just playing better safe than sorry. Like I was I didn't want to like pause and change the buttons because even though the time is running against me too, so I said maybe I can play with my jump button swapped, and it was a bad idea.
Don't do that. Don't.
Yeah, it was a bad
not in a
idea.
Mega Man game. Don't do that. So the only thing that was changed in that challenge, the original challenge was just to make it to Chill Penguin. He tacked on at the end of it your time beating Chill Penguin. But since you never even made it to the ball, you kind of assumed that he knew you were worse at that game than Cham, so he picked it.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Like I did go back to practice it just in case if it ever popped up again, but not for the finale. For the finale, I played all kinds of games. Usually when they're random, I will cover all the genres, shooters, platforms, fighters. I will cover all the genres so I could be prepared. But I expected it to be random neutral games, not Cham's greatest hits. That's my opinion.
No, I mean, again, I'm not taking a side here because it's possible he favored Cham, it's possible he didn't, but I will say it would be really hard to pick a handful of games that he knew you two would be equal at. That would have been pretty difficult.
Yeah. No, I agree with that, but there's some things that are blatant, like Super Puzzle Fighter. Yu-Gi-Oh! Those two are blatant.
Okay.
Yeah.
So WWE 2K23. Now, from my understanding, you didn't have that game very long before you.
No, I didn't. I am a big wrestling fan, but I really don't like that series. I'm more of like the No Mercy.
Yeah.
I do like SmackDown. And SmackDown Shut Your Mouth and Here Comes the Pain. Those old school wrestling games. But as far as the 2K series, I'm not a big fan of it.
Okay, and
I just particularly bought it for the season. Yeah.
Yeah, and Cham was also a new player at it. Like he didn't really have any experience playing it at all.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah, as far as I know. I mean, he claims that it's my game, but I was never a big fan of the 2K series.
I think that's just because they know you're a big wrestling fan, so they just kind of assume that you're going to be able to play it. So you mentioned in the video Moat's coaching. Now, while I will admit that's not really fair, did that actually change anything?
To me is like I'm okay with saying that Cham got that, but it's hard to like say definitely because it's like he was screaming at him, go to a neutral corner. And Cham responded by going to a neutral corner.
He never did the spear.
Would have Cham gone to them? He never did the spear. But, it just goes back to how much do you believe in the butterfly effect? Because Cham probably would have done something else.
I mean, that's true. But, I mean, I think in the grand scheme of things, him yelling at Cham didn't really change the outcome of the match, honestly.
No, he didn't. He didn't do the spear. But I would say giving out moves and coaching, something you should avoid just in general.
Yes, you should avoid it. I just don't know that really determines.
Yeah, I'm okay with, like I said, that column was contested. I would say out of that column, that's the only game that Cham got, and I'd be okay with that. But the other ones, no.
Okay. So Super Mario Brothers 3 was next. Now, I know multiple times throughout the season this was played, and the challenge was always the first to World 8. And part of the way through the season, it was changed to where both players had to play at the same time. Then that was suddenly different for the finals.
Yeah. Because I said out loud during the stream when he played against Advanced Boss that my time was too. Okay, I said before Cham and Advanced Boss played against each other, I said, okay, guys, your time to beat is 2 minutes and 42 seconds. I just did this last night.
I remember because Mo told you to stop. I remember that.
Yeah. So by me saying that, I didn't put much thought into it. I'm like, okay, now Mo knows my time. And he made, like, for me, it's like he changed the challenge because every time they did the challenge, Cham ended up doing it a few times throughout the season. And each time he did it, it was over 3 minutes.
Okay.
So that's where I grow suspicious. Like, well, why did he change it this time? And he made it a world challenge. And to be honest, I didn't lab to beat the whole world. I didn't lab that. So
and I can vouch for you there. You didn't practice those.
Yeah. I only practiced the challenge that was given, but he changed it. And then on top of that, go one by one and let Welcome2Die go first. So I was at a huge disadvantage because you changed the challenge, which is, it's okay. That's fair. Like, I would have been okay with it had we went at the same time. But if you change the challenge and you say go one at a time, player 2 has a huge advantage. You know, Cham got to see me die multiple times in level 4 and level 5. He got to see the stage.
5 and 6.
Was that
5 and 6?
Yes, yeah, 5 and 6. But the point is, like, yeah, I didn't practice those games at all. I was basically learning on the fly. I mean, I played those levels back when I was a kid, but for the season, I didn't touch those levels. So it's been over 20 years since I've seen those levels. They're brand new to my mind these days. So I was learning on the go, but you know, second player gets that huge advantage. Cham got to see me where I died and learn from my mistakes, and he capitalized on it. Fair play in the situation. It's not Cham's fault, but it is Molt's. I gotta blame Molt on that because we should have been able to play at the same time.
Okay, so
2 screens at the same time.
Just comment on the chat right now. Blood Tide says people scream in Discord at people playing all the time, even when Welcome2Die isn't there. It's not a conspiracy. Yes, I have seen Moat do that plenty of times through plenty of games, and I don't necessarily know that I would say that he was trying to coach Cham just to make Welcome2Die lose. And I know Welcome2Die might feel a little bit differently, but I don't think that changed WWE 2K23. I don't think
and that's what I'm saying. I'll give it to him. Like, look, if you're telling me, like, all I said was that column was contested. There were to be questioned. Something's wrong with each of those games. And out of all those games, WWE 2K23 is the game I would give Cham because it didn't make a difference. He didn't go for the spear. Now, had he went for the spear after the coaching, that's a huge problem. And I think he was trying. It just didn't come out.
C. Marvel. Tom, considering how you were labbing and coaching Welcome2Die on all games season 2, aren't you biased to the twists and turns that the people outside of the situation are looking at? Now, I do have a lot more knowledge about what was going on than a lot of the people watching. I will admit that. But at the same time, Welcome2Die knows I don't always agree. Like, there's been numerous times tonight I have disagreed with what he had to say. Just because I was present for a lot of that doesn't mean I think the same as him.
Yeah. Like, I see, so I told this to Blast and I told this to Tom. And I tell this, like, most of my friendships, it's like, it's okay to agree to disagree. I'm not gonna hate you if we don't have the same, same mindset. It's like, okay, if you feel that way, that's fine. Next question. I'm not gonna get all riled up if you don't agree with me. So.
Hey, Roderick says the bottom line is Welcome2Die wanted a shoulder to cry on in an environment that can't be cross-examined. We should have handled this like men, but since you did it this way, whatever. No, like by all means, y'all have been talking in the chat the whole time. Y'all are free to come on an interview if you want and tell your side of things. We've said that from the start. Like, we're not denying you that chance to do so. We just didn't want you and him to be on the stream at the same time. If you want to say something to comment on anything he's bringing up, I can definitely say it and we can discuss it. We absolutely are not stopping anyone from a difference of opinion here.
Once again, Roderick, I said it in my video. You probably didn't watch it, but I reached out to Mo multiple times. Every time I felt that I was done wrong, I tried to handle this behind the scenes, and I was avoided like the plague. That video, pretty much, Mo did that to himself. That video could have been avoided, but he left me with no choice. What am I supposed to do? Just walk away and not talk about my experience? Like, I'm trying to look out for everybody when I say this. Even in season 2, I spoke out about these randoms coming in, and I know Gali and Advanced Boss felt the same way, and we had those talks. And it came across. I remember when we were in the call, Mo and Chan were there. They were like, well, how do we expand the league? We got to let people try it. And they weren't concerned about the competitor's mindset. They were more concerned about expanding the league. And that was another problem in itself. It's like, I get you want to expand the league, but what about fairness to the competitors that are in your league? What about, taking care of us first, then worry about expanding the league? So that was just my point. But I've always been, me and Mo, we used to talk daily, but anytime it was a confrontational situation, he would avoid me. So just to answer Roger's question, I tried, and I don't know what else I could have done. So yeah.
Okay, so for another comment from Roderick, and I want to speak for you on this, but you can tell me if I have this correctly. So Roderick says, I reached out to you and you ghosted me, and then 2 months later now. So again, if he's really feeling like he was screwed out of the championship, I can see why he would want to talk to you. That's just,
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yeah. It's a different, yeah, it is correct. It's different because, like, Roderick wasn't the problem. The problem was between me and Mo. That was something that I had to resolve with Mo. And Mo did not, when I reached out, he wouldn't reply. He wouldn't talk about any of the tough situations. He wouldn't want to resolve the fight night headbutt. He wouldn't want to resolve the Yu-Gi-Oh theme deck where, he said this tournament was all about theme deck, and I felt like he changed it. He didn't want to talk about that. He didn't want to talk about the event that me and Bloodside did where it was super laggy. He just left it alone. Anytime I reached out and asked him questions that he felt uncomfortable with, he'd just ghost me. So there's that. I know, Roderick, I know you sent me a message, and I appreciate that you did, checking up on me. I get all that. But I was in the middle of making that video to express myself in one shot rather than repeat myself. I ended up giving you a link to the video so you could see how I felt and explain everything. But, me and Roderick talking in the background, I don't think it would have resolved anything. The problem was between me and Mo. And if Mo wasn't answering my questions, then I'm at a loss. It's just like, okay, what do I do? Do I just leave it alone and just keep it moving like every other competitor that left the league from season 1? So that's the situation I got put in. I mean, this could have been avoided, and I have the receipts to prove that too. Those are the DMs. I don't know what else to say. Like I could just verbatim, like, is what I said was, I sent out as soon as Moat said Yu-Gi-Oh will be played in tomorrow's championship game, I sent him a message saying, All I ask is for a fair contest. If the tables were turned, I wouldn't do this to you. Why is Cham getting this Yu-Gi-Oh perk? Moat never replied until after the tournament. He said, basically, did you get your package? Like, what's your address to ship you off the belt? But he never addressed what I said about Yu-Gi-Oh. So that was just one of many examples, and that happened throughout the season.
Okay, I want to address one more comment, and then we're going to go ahead and finish up the championships. So,
Okay.
something that C. Marvel said here, Welcome to Die. This is why you were looking like a victim, because you believe yourself to be a victim. So now you took the path of weakness.
No, I have not taken the path of weakness. I'm actually speaking out for a bunch of competitors that no longer compete in the league. If anything, I'm taking a stand for your Tum, because we all know what happened to Tum, but nobody really wants to talk about it, right? And right now I'm talking for Rotendo. Rotendo been screwed out. I don't see him signed up for season 3, and I don't think he's going to be in season 3. So I'm talking about unfairness. I am actually standing up for a cause, C. Marvel. So it's not weakness. When you take a stand, that's not weakness.
Okay. So the next game was Dragon Ball Fighter Z, which you did win that. No real problems with that. And then we come to Samurai Showdown, which there was a bit of controversy there. Now, I don't remember 100% if this was the case, but I believe you were one round away from actually winning that match, if I recall. And you were ahead on
Yes.
life, and the game froze.
Yes. So unfortunately, I couldn't pull off too many things for that particular moment. But in the video, I showed it that it froze on us. I had one round up, and he lost more than half his life. Maybe one hit or two hit away, that would have been my match. But it froze, at least for them. For me, it didn't. I don't know who I was playing, because I felt like I was still playing. I didn't realize that it froze until I got on the live chat. But basically, instead of giving me that match, they made me redo the match. On my side, the score I got, it was a 1-3. The score I got was 5-3. My lead. I had to redo my matches multiple times because the game kept freezing on their end. But I was like, dude, I just won. Who was I playing then? It's not like the person stopped moving. I was still playing. So what do you mean it froze? That's the situation I was in. And then all that back and forth, the Xbox can only record the last minute you played. So all that back and forth, I couldn't, between that and me only having one mic for my Xbox or Discord, I couldn't get it in time to show my screen. It kind of like faded out into the menu. So, but it's like, I know what I saw. I know what I experienced. It's just one of those things. Like, it's like if you saw an alien, right? If you have no proof of it, are you gonna say you didn't see an alien because you don't have the proof? Like, no, you know what
if
you
you don't
saw.
want to get locked up, you might do that.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? There's some that's a situation that it's like, all right, I might not have the proof, but I know what my eyes saw. I know what I experienced, and I'm just telling you what I experienced. And it was like, oh, redo the match until Cham won. Cham got the 3. And I think their score was 3-2. But on my end, I won multiple times, and I wasn't playing an MIA opponent. That opponent was moving. That opponent was moving like a human player, not an AI player. So I was like,
So
okay.
you're saying after the match froze for Moat, Cham continued moving?
That's what I'm saying. That's what I experienced. Like, I won the match. Like, there was a few times where I won the match. Then I got back on the live stream and they say, hey, the game froze for us. And you can hear me on stream. I was like, what are you talking about? Who was I just playing then? I just won on my side. So we went through that kind of situation.
That's a really difficult thing since you can't prove it.
Yeah.
But
No, and I totally get
that would
it.
make a huge difference though.
Yeah. I totally understand that, and that's why I really can only highlight that match that I showed on my video where I won a round and I have more than half the energy off of Champ. That match in itself was supposed to be mine, and that's the proof because
Well, I
it
think
shouldn't
that
have
would have
been a
been your third
redo.
win too, wouldn't it have?
I believe so. It's been a while
I
since I recall. If I recall correctly, yeah, that would have been a third win, but we
Yeah,
had
and
to
then they
redo
would
it.
have moved on to the next game. See, now that's a really tough spot because if Cham was moving after throws for them, that definitely should have counted. If he really
Yeah,
disconnected, I don't know what their protocol on that is.
yeah. It's unfortunate. It was a weird situation, and those guys, and everybody was just blaming SNK. So I mean, hopefully that doesn't happen in the future of their games. I love SNK. Hopefully they get their shit together because we also had network issues with King of Fighters as well.
Now, Idorian, I'll be glad to explain that later, but I don't want to drag that into this right now because that has nothing to do with what Welcome2Die is going through. Okay, so we can say Samurai Showdown 19 is kind of like a question mark there because you can't really prove what you saw and they can't really prove you didn't see that. So, yes, you definitely had the advantage. As far as I know, you had 2 wins, you had a round win, you were up on life. So, yeah, a couple more hits, you would have won that match. You would have gotten the point and went on, but that's kind of the big question mark on it. Was Cham still there or not? And I don't
Yeah,
know when that came up before in the league, like I'm sure it did. I don't know what they chose to do in those instances. Would they just award the win to the person that was
I
ahead?
I don't. I mean, it's honestly, I can't recall because I think that changes on the whim. Like I don't think that rule is consistent. If he ruled
Okay.
it one way, he might change his mind on another time. I know Gali went through something similar with Blood Tide in the Power Ranger Battle from the Grid, where Blood Tide kept disconnecting and they made him redo it multiple times. And at the point where I felt bad for Gali, I was like, "You won, you won. Why are you redoing this?" So it happened to other contestants as well.
So really, there's no way around a big dark cloud being over Samurai Showdown. Like
Yeah, pretty
there's no
much.
real way to fix that one. Like according to you,
Yeah.
based on what you saw, that definitely should have been your win. But yeah, at
Yes.
this
And
point,
I'm
yeah.
sticking to that. Yeah, and
Okay.
I'm more than happy to play him in Samurai Showdown again. I wasn't impressed. I'm more than happy to play him again in Samurai Showdown.
Okay. So the next streak of games, we don't really have too much to say because Marvel Infinite, that was a fair win for him. Tekken 8 was a
Yeah.
fair win for you. Marvel
Hmm.
vs. Capcom 2. I just want to touch on one quick thing because you never said this throughout the season. They are always bringing up you using the Juggernaut glitch. And I've
Yeah.
mentioned this to you before. Tron's third assist is a glitch too, everyone, and nobody ever says anything. Like, and it
Yeah.
actually does just as much as the Juggernaut glitch. So
Yeah.
it's a little unfair to bring up the Juggernaut glitch, but not that. Um,
Yep. And when you pointed
Obviously,
that
it's
out, that's when I learned about it. I was like, holy crap. And he does spam that assist. So
yeah.
that
Now
makes a
that's
huge
still a fair
difference.
win. That's still a fair win,
No,
but I'm
it's
just
fair.
saying,
It's
yeah,
fair.
they're both
Hey,
glitches, not just
look,
one or like
Marvel
they are
vs.
both a
Capcom
glitch.
2. Marvel vs. Capcom 2 was not on the contested column. I
Right.
I completely said it was Cham's game. So
Yeah.
just want to throw that out there.
Yeah, I just want to mention that because I never heard that mentioned by anyone on the streams. Like, the Tron glitch is just as much of a glitch as what Juggernaut's. That's all. Still a fair win. So, Ultra Street Fighter 4, that was a fair win for him. Guilty Gear
Yeah.
Strive was a fair win for you. Street Fighter 6 was a fair win for him. And then Tekken 7 was a fair win for you. And then we get to Capcom vs. which you two kind of went back and forth on throughout the season. That was a good 50-50. Could have gone either way.
Yeah. I mean, this all goes back to the original rules and the formats, right? This was supposed to be all like, let's just play devil's advocate. If this all stood with the original format and it was only Monday games, I actually beat Cham on just the Monday games. If you look at it that way, if it was the season one format.
I will have to give you that. That's not how it was. If it were that way, you would have, yes. So
yeah, it's not like that, but it's just how rules change on the fly midway. But let's say if it was going to turn out the way it was originally supposed to be, then there's that argument as well. Like that's why the rules shouldn't have been changed. But it is what it is.
I mean, I don't know what was in Moat's head, but I don't think that he ever intended the championship to be only the Monday games. I doubt that to start, because I know they spent the season adding things that weren't specifically fighting games. They didn't want it to be just fighting games.
Yeah, and that for me, and from what I've saw, the feedback that he got, it was mainly Gali and Advanced Boss, and I think maybe Bloodside, but it was just like something came across that rubbed Moat the wrong way. Kind of like, well, this is not about just fighting games, because it was more to spite them that he added the Fightcade games variety, because those guys were like, it's all about the fighting games, and Moat was like, no, this is a gaming league, it's not just fighting games. So that's what changed it midway. But if it wasn't for that back and forth, it would have been just Monday games. But that's all speculation.
That's speculation.
At the end of the day,
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
So we have one more game to address, and then we can wrap this up. And I know this is the one you've been waiting to talk about the whole time. Super Puzzle Fighter 2.
Yeah, man.
I
like the game. Don't get me wrong. I like it. I'm not hardcore in it. I mean, I did play in Rev's Super Puzzle Fighter 2 tournament like back in the day, but the Fightcade records show what you need to know. That tells you everything you need to know.
Yeah, I mean, for WWE 2K3, I can throw Cham a bone on that one. For Samurai Showdown 19, it looks like it should have been your win, but I can see where they might not have done that. I can't defend this one. Like that, Puzzle Fighter is absolutely one-sided. That's absolutely true. I cannot come to any kind of defense at all. That's definitely Cham's game.
What about? Did we go over King of Fighters? I think that was not meant.
Oh, you're right. We didn't go over King of Fighters. Thanks, Blast, for interrupting. Made me forget all about it. Look at him over there in silence. I couldn't think. Okay, King of Fighters 15. I'll hit that one real quick. So, you tried playing. Cham couldn't connect, so they just respawned the game. But my understanding there is that the league was initially supposed to be Xbox, and Cham was trying to play it on Xbox. And the reason why he couldn't connect to Moat is because Moat was playing it on Steam.
Yes, and I was also playing it on Steam as well.
So, should you really have gotten that point?
I think, yes, because if we go back to that clip, whatchamacallit?
With C Smooth.
Was it C Smooth? He couldn't connect. He couldn't get into our lobby. Right?
Yeah, he was
Mo is essentially the commissioner, right?
Yeah.
Mo is the commissioner. He is the referee. And in that case, since he couldn't connect to us, C Smooth got disconnected. He got DQ'd, and I got to move on in that tournament. So why is it I get to move on in this tournament, but in the championship we have to spin the wheel again?
That to me feels unfair to see Smooth, if anything. Honestly.
Yes. But if that is the protocol you're following in the championship, like Moat should have either proxied for Cham or DQ'd him, not a respin. Because
No,
Moat
I
has
could
proxy
see.
for people with bad network connections.
Yes, he has. I don't know that he'd want to do that during the championship when it's like, because I don't think he would have let me come in and proxy for you on anything. Like
Oh,
Puzzle
yeah,
Fighter,
I-
you would have had me play for you in Puzzle Fighter because I've played it way more than you have.
Yeah. But you know, I really feel like, yeah, I should have got the point just because he couldn't connect. Yes, I do feel that way because I do feel like had he could connect, I would have won. I was really strong in King of Fighters 15.
Unfortunately, that's an answer we may never know.
Yeah, but the fact that C Smooth got DQ'd, then that means Champ should have got DQ'd if you want to be consistent with the rules.
Yeah, I think I can give that to you, though I would say personally that was just unfair to see Smooth. I don't think he should have gotten DQ'd, but I understand.
But then again, he's a surf. He's a surf, so surf gets real special treatments in this league.
Wow. I mean, I didn't really want to go into that. So, yeah,
if you watch the video, guys, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
What's a surf?
Puzzle Fighter 2. What?
What's a surf?
Well, look up the definition.
gosh.
Like it's
I know.
It's pretty.
I know what a surf is. What's a surf?
Yeah.
Where?
It's pretty much a demeaning role.
Yes.
Where you just take a lot of trash. Yeah, they
What
pretty
is
much
this,
get the Welcome to Die treatment.
Wait. So what? Wait. So it's like a sorority, in a sense.
Gibby was season 1 surf, and then season 2 surf was C Smooth. So it's a position that Moat likes to bully people into, which is explained in my video. He gives them an offer they can't refuse, and they become a surf. And they pretty much get made fun of the entire time for being a surf. And it's a very demeaning role. I was never a fan of the gimmick. It's very demeaning. It's basically his own slave, almost like the way it's the treatment that's given. So I don't know, man. That's a very big cool. To me that gimmick, it could get you canceled if the wrong people hear it. So I was never a fan of that gimmick, but that's
okay. Well, I mean,
I didn't mean to. I'm not trying to. Yeah, I'm not trying to make them whatever. Like again,
no, that's okay. I can
just
ask
was curious. I was just curious. I didn't know.
Well,
genuinely.
Then since you brought it up, does Moat actually force people into being serfs?
Guys, I do want to just warn you. So I did say till midnight, but realistically, I need to be on a work call at 12:30. So just letting you guys know.
Yeah, we got one game left. I just want to ask: does Moat really force people to be a serf, or was he just joking about that?
Well, the other thing I was gonna say is, I know I've been eating or whatever. I'm honestly like, no disrespect, okay? Just letting you guys know, I didn't eat today. Yeah. Whatever you saw me.
No problem, man.
So, we can tell you've already eaten the box, and I don't mean the fries. I mean the box itself. So we can tell.
I got the box right here, bro.
Yeah.
That's dessert.
Yeah, he does.
Top of it. Okay.
Sorry. Go ahead. Welcome to.
Yeah, he actually does. He actually does, Tom, because he makes people play matches for it. If you lose this match against Moat, you will be a serf. But if you like, he throws like an incentive for you to do it. Maybe you get some points or something like that. But basically, I think C Smooth lost to Moat in some type of matchup, and he became a serf right after.
I think C Smooth is a pretty good player. I played him like in Street Fighter, and he beat me.
Not at everything.
No, he's good. He's good. He's good in Street Fighter 5. Yeah, he was one of the best players in Street Fighter 5. He's really good. He's a good guy. You know, I spoke to C Smooth about it, and he wore it with strive. He just wanted to prove people wrong, and he wanted to win, even though he was a serf. Like, you know, but he didn't care. It's just a
So-
demeaning role, actually.
So people get pressured into playing that match for servitude, I guess you would say.
Yeah, I can't recall exactly how they get pressured into it. I just remember it's some type of matchup. Like if you lose, you're gonna be the serf for the season.
Okay.
Dude, stand down.
But I don't.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's pretty much how he does it.
Yeah, maybe my memory's not as good as yours, but I thought the way Gibby got made a serf is because
For you,
he was talking big about something and Moat called him on it and said, "You want to play for it?" So I thought that's how Gibby became a serf. I don't know about C-Smooth.
You know, yeah, it was something like that. It's always like play me in this game, and the stipulation is if you lose, you become the serf of the season.
Okay. I got you. Okay, now we can finally move on to the main event here, Puzzle Fighter 2. And I can attest that you only had one match played in that game on Fight Cage, which was with me, and it was a while before the championship. And Cham actually had several matches, which some of them were for Moat's tournaments anyway. But nonetheless, he had way more experience in the game than you did. He knew the game way better than he was just better at the game than you were. That's just fact of the matter.
Yeah, he even did commentary for the game, and he broke it down with his analysis. He was very, educated within that game. That he did commentary in the Puzzle Fighter matchups that were held throughout the season. So he knew all the strategy, he knew everything. He was ranked C. I don't know, other until recently I saw you're ranked C, but I don't know a lot of people in the community that's ranked C.
This man.
I'm only ranked C because I won our Puzzle Fighter tournament.
Exactly.
Like that's
Very unexpectedly too.
like
But yeah,
I believe Cham
my
was a
point
part of
is-
that tournament too.
No, it wasn't.
Was he
Yeah,
not?
my point is.
Oh, he must have been part
Yeah.
of the steps one then.
No, well, maybe.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, okay.
But throughout the season, it was known. Moat knew that he was great at Puzzle Fighter. I put it in the video. He's like, Cham, I know you're mad because somebody else got to play Puzzle Fighter.
Yes, I do
So
remember that.
this is why I'm saying he picked it to favor Cham as well.
Yeah, and I hate to be in that position because again, like I can look at the list of championship games and I can offer reasons for why they may have been on there despite looking like they favor Cham, but I really have nothing for this. I don't see any way possible that Moat would not have known this favor Cham before
And then-
picking.
And also on top of that, it was played. This was the first time in the season where it was played at the hardest difficulty, at the fastest speed. So you have somebody that actually plays the game versus a casual player playing at the fastest speed. For me, it was just a tactic to ensure victory.
I mean, calling you a
it's pretty
casual
tough.
player is a bit much because you only played it the one time, so I don't even know that I would call you a casual.
No, I played it a few times. I have Big Blue, so I just didn't play it
Okay.
on Fightcade.
Okay.
Yeah, it's on Big Blue.
Okay, so just to end things, let's go on an overview of stuff. So, chess was yours. That's 1. MKX was 2. Dragon Ball Fighter Z was 3. Tekken 8 was 4. Guilty Gear Strive was 5. Tekken 7 was 6. Capcom vs. SNK was 7. Now, looking at the contested games, Yu-Gi-Oh! I do kind of agree should not have been on the wheel. I kind of have to give you that one. Puzzle Fighter 2, I don't think that should have been on the wheel either if he was actually trying to be fair. So, you have 7 so far. For Cham's, let's see. I would give him WWE 2K23 because I don't think Moat's coaching really did anything there. I would give him Marvel
I agree.
Infinite, that's 2. I gave him Marvel 2, that's 3. Ultra Street Fighter 4 is 4. Street Fighter 6 is 5. So at best I can do is say 7 versus 5 without like a cloud hanging over the head of the, because Sam Show is,
And then
like Sam Show is contested. I can understand that. If he was really moving after the freeze, that definitely should have been your game, but we'll never know. King of Fighters, that's another one where, yes, he did disqualify C Smooth early on, but I would say that was more unfair to C Smooth than anything else. That game should just straight up not have been on the wheel.
Okay.
Now, obviously, Yu-Gi-Oh!
I didn't hold back with the bloopers.
Yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh! Was unfair to you. I have to admit that. Mega Man X and Mario 3. That's a little suspicious. Because, in my opinion, if he was going to switch Mario 3 to be a world challenge, why didn't he switch Mega Man X to be a different stage instead of still doing Chilpang? That's a weird one for me. Like, I don't know if that was intentional, but that's at least something you can think about.
Yeah, that when you put it that way, yeah, he changed one and not the other. That is kind of weird.
So, looking over this list of games here, I would say based on that and the 3 games that weren't played, if you had gotten both your accounts to the end of the playoffs, you'd have won, guaranteed. That's just it. You would have had 3 picks, you would have won. Without that second playoff spot, out of what I find fair, you are up 7-5. Just me personally.
Champion season 2. Sorry, I had to.
I can't definitively say yes, you would be the overall winner, but I can say that he did pick some games to favor Cham. I can't deny that. He definitely did.
Thank you. I'm not making it up. Where there's smoke, there's fire.
Well, you guys went really in detail. Like, I muted myself so that you guys can cover whatever you want to cover. Like I said, promised you guys space, and I gave it. So
I appreciate it.
I know you got a lot out of your chest, and I think Utility Man also pointed out, like, a more of a non-biased opinion, where he had covered both sides. Like, he literally stuck to the facts and nothing but the facts. I mean, I was listening, despite how, I was being silly or whatever. I was just trying to keep things entertained, too, for some other people that are not as engaged. But I was listening. So, I just have to throw out my 2 cents on that. That's all.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely games that will always be a question mark. Like, was that fair? Was it not? I'm not sure.
That's kind of like the Cobra Kai thing that we talked about before.
Yeah, but of what I can definitively say was 100% fair, I would say Welcome2Die won more games. Just me personally, I would have just made them keep playing more games, but that's just me.
Dude, you cracked the shit out of me throughout this whole stream, bro. I just gotta say
that. It's just... But that, you're not the only one that thinks like that, Tom. I feel that I won, and I know other people that feel that I won. And that alone, whether you agree or disagree, that puts an asterisk on Cham. That's all.
Yeah.
Now, do I have an asterisk? No.
That's why I was saying
leave it at
before, like, if you guys actually met up and played each other, just because, to prove it to one another, so that it would be legit.
Like I said, Blast, I'll say this again. I have, like, nothing to prove. The last thing I needed to prove was that video, and I did just that. That was my closure. I feel in the bottom of my heart, just like what Tom said, I won. I truly feel that I won. I won season 1. But what do I need to do? Keep playing every season and keep winning? I'm done. It's just too much of a time commitment.
I get that too.
Now, to be fair, I didn't say you won. I said you were up.
And not definitively.
If I was talking about
but
fairness, you were up 7-5. There were 3 games left. I know you would have won at least one of them, which at best would have been 8-7 you. I have to agree with that. But just some of these games, King of Fighters should have never been on the thing. Like, if they knew it had problems, that shouldn't have even been up there. Yu-Gi-Oh! Should not have been up there. Puzzle Fighter should not have been up there. I would have personally just kept picking random games for y'all to play until one of you got 10. But I have to acknowledge you would have at least been ahead by 2 games. I will give you that.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, it is what it is. Like, you know, at this point, we unfortunately can't go back to the past.
No.
I believe the wrong decision happened. I really hope, you know, things could have ended up differently. The belt would have came to the rightful owner, but that's okay. You know, Cham is a hell of a competitor. I've always said he was, but I really feel that his hand was not supposed to be raised. It was just the wrong call, and we should have kept playing. That would have been a nice option.
So the director's cut of this will be my unbiased opinion, talking about every little point, just letting you guys know in the chat. Because these guys are cracking jokes left and right. I've been like laughing my ass off the whole night.
You want to talk? Why don't you give your opinion, Blast? What do you say? What's your score?
You want my honest truth and my honest opinion?
Yeah, your honest
How
opinion.
was that hamburger?
I gave mine.
So,
like, I put my opinion out there. They can grill me for it if they want, but that's honestly how I feel.
You know that breaks my rule.
I did it.
I know you did, but you're not me.
If you really don't want to, I won't push you to do that. If you really don't want to.
I would give it, but I'll leave it at this, and this will give you guys a hint. If I give my opinion, I wouldn't be neutral.
No, really?
Well, thank you, Blast.
That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. No, but I think everything you guys brought up were valid points, and I think I'm still waiting for that DM, by the way. He never sent me a DM. I've been checking. So if anybody wants to bring something up, I'm more than welcome to do that. I'm happy to help any way I can. Honestly, I know that he's doing things over there, and that's none of my business personally. I hope that whatever happened between the two of you guys, life itself is a learning experience. So I hope that he will take this and learn from it if it's meant to be that way. And I hope you yourself truly find that closure, bro. Because I know you're hurting. I know you vested time as a competitor, and that's what this was really about, and why I said okay to it to begin with, because you vested time, and I get that.
I'm okay. Like, dude. Like I said, I'm okay as far as right now. Like with this weekend, I've hit my closure. I'm good. Like, I'm just moving on. I am a road warrior, just like Ryu, looking for the next big challenge. I'll go to different channels and play.
You know how I feel about you, man. I think, I got nothing but respect for you.
Yeah. So from Put Your Quarters to Laundromat Wars to BackAlley 7-Eleven to Fighters Evo, I'm just going to go across the community. But right now,
just keep it about the games and
back out. Yeah, I just won't return to BackAlley. I don't want to support the channel. That's just how I feel. If I could be friends with Moat one day, that's a possibility. But as far as that channel goes, I really don't. I don't see myself going back to it. And that's okay, because there's other channels to play games at. And I can play off stream. And I can play against the competitors privately. It doesn't have to be on stream either. So it's okay. I'm still going to get my gaming fix on. So it's all good.
That's good, man. So, like you said before, you're going to be doing these things. Is there anything that you want to promote Anything you want to talk about before?
Oh
'Cause
yeah.
After you
Well,
do that, I got one more thing I forgot to mention.
You're killing me.
yeah. Like
We're getting shorter
main
on time.
thing. Like I'm
I know,
going to
this will
be
be
going
it.
back to War Games. I'm going back to War Games, which is basically the successor to Laundromat Wars, and we will be doing I Got Next Champion Edition every now and then, because since that was my idea,
So,
I'm taking it back,
word of advice.
and I'm going to be doing it over there.
Word of advice for personal experiences. If you really want that name, go and get a trademark before someone else does.
Yeah, no, I'm fine if somebody trademarks it. Like I said, I know Moat wants to, so he can go ahead. But Champion
Costs
Edition
money.
is what sets it apart.
Costs money.
I'm not doing. I'm not doing
I've been
it. I
through
mean,
it.
I'm just playing for fun, so
Just
I'm not
letting you
doing
know.
it. In the meantime, while I can use it, I will, and then we could always change the name if it becomes an issue.
Sounds good.
Okay.
What was it, Tom?
I actually, something that was said on the chat early on, I wanted to comment on it when we got to this point and I forgot.
I'll highlight it. What is it?
So, two things. One, UAG mentioned, I don't think he got the list, but Yu-Gi-Oh! Felt shady.
Where is that?
And Moat responded to that.
Wow, that must
and
have
he
been
said-
before.
Huh?
That must have been way before. I don't see. Hold on.
Yeah, it was at like 9:54 in the chat.
Good lord.
Oh, that was a long time ago.
Well, this had to do with Yu-Gi-Oh! I wanted to wait till we got there.
I can't even
So
get
Moat-
there. I can't even get there. Let's just put
It's
it that way.
fine. I'll read it. Moat said
for it.
everyone knew the games list for 2 weeks. Yu-Gi-Oh! Was added as a tiebreak because the wheel was at 18 and it was played in 3 separate tourneys during the season. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't that wheel have 21 games, not 18? If he's
I'm not
saying
sure how
Yu-Gi-Oh!
many.
Well, I mean, we just went through them.
Yeah, but I don't recall the exact number. It might be, but regardless, I addressed this earlier. Regardless, it was played 3 times, but it wasn't a Monday game.
Yeah, but
Yu-Gi-Oh! was
that's
held on
not even.
Sundays.
Yeah, that's not what I'm even focusing on here. He says it was added as a tiebreak because the wheel was 18,
I just have one
but
thing
it
to say.
wasn't.
Just one thing to say. This is exactly why I have utility men being the TO. That's all I gotta say. That's all I have to say.
Yeah.
Like, if you look at
you
the
made a good choice,
game,
Blast.
Cham had 10, Welcome2Die had 7. That's 17. They didn't count KOF. That's 18. There were 3 games that didn't get played. That's 21. Where did this 18 tiebreak come from? Like, that's
He'll
not
go.
true.
He'll always stick to the facts.
Yeah. There you go.
Like, that I have to absolutely call out. Like, that's definitely not true. So I'll
Listen,
close with
like
this.
I said earlier, that the damage control is compulsive of things he's saying. I'm calling it. It's just not true.
Well,
And
I'll end with this.
that's one of them.
They should have made you play those 3 remaining games. That's what I think that they should have done. You don't want to count KOF, fine. Play the remaining 3. I would have still had you up 8-7. That's my opinion.
Yeah, but you know they're not gonna do a run back. They're gonna move on, and it is what it is. You know, I'm not stressing it no more, so that's why I'm having the closure. But I totally agree with you. But I doubt that would ever happen. You know, it is what it is. I'm just moving on. Like, I know deep down I won both seasons, and it's the receipts prove that it's just undisputed, and that's it. Now, if you don't want to agree to it, then it's all perspective. At the end of the day, it is what it is. I'm gonna live my life. I'm move on, play some more games elsewhere. I do feel like I got robbed out of $100. I do feel like I got robbed out of the investment to play in the season because, you know, that's not how I wanted it to end. But all of this could have been avoided, but Moat never answered any of my questions when the times were right. So that's what I did. That's why I dropped that video and I did what I had to do. And I felt like every contestant that left the league never said anything, and everything's all good, and when it's not. So I wanted to take that stand and let you guys know that a lot of competitors left because of the BS. Tom is one of them. Rotendo's another. I can go on. There's other people. Ray play games. I was just talking to him the other day. He says Moat uses people for good, uses good players for content, and now more than ever, I believe it.
I
But
personally have my own opinions about what is content and what isn't. Like, yes, it's content, but making videos like what you did in response, that video, that to me is like real content, just so you know. Because that takes time, that puts your own effort into it. Using other people, like even when we run a tournament or something, yes, we do actually have other people that are creating content in a sense. So for me to go and say I'm a content creator, like I never personally was okay with that. I see myself, like with the things that I've done previously, as true content. Like the videos I worked with, like CS Vagrant on and things like that.
yeah,
So I just, shout out to him too, by the way.
I respect that. But yeah, so that's my point, man. I know more than a handful of players that are not returning, but none of them say anything. At least we know where Tum stands, and we know what happened with Tum too, and he's here, and he can confirm it. But other people haven't said anything, so it's really sad to see, and it's just like I just want to warn people: if you sign up to season 3 and you think it's a fair contest, think again. Watch my video. That's all I'm saying.
I literally have a minute. So Moat, that's something that, according to Welcome2Die, Ray Play Games said. Okay, in no way am I saying that you use people for content, and I don't think that that's what Welcome2Die was saying either, just to be clear. And this is secondhand information, just being clear on that too.
Yeah, like I said, I wondered why Ray Play Games disappeared. He looked like he was going to sign into season 2. I spoke to him. Him and Mo don't get along, and that's what he told me. So, I know it's he say, she said, but I mean, that's what he told me. I'm just saying what he told me. And I know Ray Play Games is a great player as well. And it was unfortunate that he didn't join season 2. He just felt a certain way.
So guys, I literally have to connect to my job within the next minute or two because
it's
okay.
I got nothing else.
So
well, I just want to say thank you guys. Thank you for this time. It was another therapeutic session for me. Got it off my chest. And like I said, I'm down to play anybody, fight anybody. Doesn't matter what channel you are. I'm just not playing in the back alley. So if any of you back alley rookies, I'll call you out because I'm known for trash talking. If any of you back alley people want to play, you can come to a fair contest at Fighters Evo, and you can get handled.
Thank you. We try to keep things fair around here. We really do. The man that's sitting over there is a big stickler on that. I can contest that.
Other way, Blast. Other way. You're reversed. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, because I'm looking at it on Discord, not in the stream. So my bad. But I will say this: we are running an MVC2 tournament. I don't know how I'm gonna be because I'm working overnight, but I'll make it all happen. So it should be fun. Come through if you guys want to play MVC2. I'm throwing out $100 towards that. So just saying.
Blast. Okay, I know you have to go, but for the record, you're not saying that what Moat does is good content, because I think that's how he took that.
What am I saying?
Moat said, but you also just said that the video he put out was good content, and in turn, the things we do on the channel isn't.
No, I meant in general, like putting a video together, for example, takes effort and work, is what I meant by that. Not that, I think he's misinterpreting things and actually manipulating my words. That's just not cool. Unless he misinterpreted
I think
that.
streaming is good content, so I'm not the same as him.
I'm just saying I like videos, like actual videos. That's what I'm saying.
I just want to say
streams are fun. That's all I'm saying.
rather than playing another league, rather than playing another league, I'll just buy another title. It's really not that serious anymore. I got plenty.
Yeah, dude, you look like a soldier right now with like armor on, man. Anyways, I really do have to go, guys. Definitely, good talking to both of you as always,
Yep.
and looking forward to hanging out with you guys in the future more, of course. So I gotta get going, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and
thanks everybody.
I'm gonna go ahead and end the stream right now. Thank you everybody for tuning in. Again, no disrespect, Moat, whoever else is out
No,
there.
absolutely not, Moat. Like I
don't think
No, none at all.
I'm just
Not from me.
trying to
No.
be as fair as possible. Like this was not meant to be a hit piece.
I have not been disrespectful at all. I just spoke my truth. So yeah, not me.
All right, guys, I do gotta get going. I'll talk to you guys later, and have a good one, everybody. Take care.
All right, peace.
Have a good night.